Nice.
Couple times.
Megawatt in front of me here, and so we'll have some fun, play around and testing this guy.
Looks like you're in the
Before we get
water.
going here, I just want to talk a little bit about
You'd be like, where the hell are they? Are they in a swamp? Why are they building in a swamp? Is it on?
I think it should be live. I'm gonna check it right now on my YouTube.
Let's see. This
Yeah, could use a Wi-Fi. But yeah, looks like we're live.
All right, cool.
It's still a little bit.
All right, let's test it. Test. 1, 2, 3. Test. Mine sounds a little low, Bob. Test.
Yeah.
Maybe
And as
Jerry.
soon as you start, you'll start yelling, and then you'll be like,
Yeah.
"Bob, it's too
Mine
loud.
sounds
Too
fantastic.
I
loud."
don't do that.
This is the best mine's ever sounded.
Yeah, mine's really weak.
Well, it's because you're weak, so Mike's weak.
But think about mics, they're so touchy with distance.
Yeah.
So
Hold
you
on,
just
I
have to,
gotta-
like,
How's this, Phil? Is that better?
Hold on 1 second. I want to rearrange this. Test. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. Test. Perfect. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Maybe a little lower,
Check.
just a little bit. Test.
you could probably turn everyone down in my ears a little bit. It's a little
1,
loud
2,
overall.
3.
You're allowed overall?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Test.
It'll make me want to be really quiet.
Let's say
Yeah.
it's another
I already
spot.
mumble, so
No, you don't.
You're mumbling.
not when I'm projecting, but when I'm talking. I
Test.
mumble.
I mean, if I stayed back like this, I'm fine. It's just when I get.
No, it sounds good when you're close.
Sounds good. All right.
You got all kinds of like fucking peanut butter all over your
I have
mic.
to do this manually, so excuse my reach.
Dog shit. It's
Oh, you
dog
got the
shit
gain
on
down there.
Yeah, let me see, which one of your headphones? I'm trying
This is
If I
true.
wiggle my cord, is that gonna help?
to, might. Wiggle again. Going back?
This,
That looks so bad. Wiggle again. Do you feel that?
this is what we do for all new guests.
Yeah, I'm gonna pinch it.
I think this is you. Does it tickle?
I
Is
hope
this
we're
turning it
recording.
down a little bit? Have
Does
other,
that check 1, 2? No,
Test,
it's
test.
still loud. Still loud. to everybody.
okay, you guys
Okay.
talk, just talk.
Check. Yes.
Keep going, check.
Mine sounds really good.
check.
If it starts getting quiet in your ears, say something.
Test.
I'll
1,
be
2,
deaf.
3.
Turn the wrong one down.
Tell me when it's getting lower.
Check.
Check.
Check. There we go. Okay. They got lower.
That's yours.
Did it get lower?
That's yours though.
Mine's good. Mine's good.
Keep
Test,
keep talking.
test,
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Talking, still
Holy
talking.
shit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Okay, it's not, keep talking.
Okay,
Test,
yeah,
test.
it's not that one yet.
I'm good.
Checking.
I'm so good.
Still there.
Test.
No, still-
I think mine's good.
Mine
Mine
went
feels good.
Okay, so that's Jared's there. I think you just got
Okay.
it.
So then this one right here, keep talking.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. I'm hearing myself now, but not
Check,
you
check.
guys are.
Hello, hello,
Okay.
Oh, I think you went down. You just went down.
But yeah, oh, so is that the gain going in or gain coming out for the headphones?
This should be the gain coming out of your,
Check. Yeah, mine, I don't feel like it's changed at all.
okay, keep talking.
Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check. Oh, there we go. That went down.
Okay.
Yep. Check 1, 2, check. That's probably good there.
Okay.
Test.
We
1,
gotta
2.
we gotta color code these things.
Now, as soon as you do, you'll unplug it.
And put it in
And
the
then
wrong
you'll say,
one.
well, I'm not color coded anymore, Mom. And I'll run around
It's
with
just wrong.
fuck yous everywhere.
Nice.
Test.
Good setup here, guys.
Check.
All right. This is going to be what 2 pieces of gear we're going to be?
We got the Megawatt, which is the new descender or industrial rope access
Okay.
tree work. And then we've got the Edelrid hand cruiser, which is our little take on your standard hand descender.
So what we'll do is so this is a new series that we're adding called Gear Talk. We really thought hard about what we call it, and we came up with the best name of Gear Talk.
Yep.
That's what it is now, and that's what we said. So we shot 5 of them already. So
Is
we
this,
pretty
did you get his camera set up or is it
no.
like off now?
Oh,
Because I'm not seeing you there.
I just unplugged it and turned it back on. I'm just kidding.
And we're
We always have these kind of glitches.
Oh, I know it. The stuff you think you
GoPros
get it all
are-
set up and
GoPros
make
are
it
horrible,
solid
too.
and it's gonna be easy.
Do me a favor, reach behind you and close that. Yeah, thank you.
You got there?
Yeah.
Oh, might have just opened up the other gap.
Okay, except for the light. I'll get the
So the
light.
only thing to do with this is unplug it
I got you, Bob.
and plug it back in.
We need, I'm gonna grab 2 sets of headphones.
Which version are these?
I'll go for 8.
8. Oh, man, I'm one shy. I don't think I can stream with a 7.
There we are. So now you can set it up.
Slick.
All right, I got that computer is in frame though.
Phil will fix it. Get the rule of thirds on there.
Phil, we've fixed that over there. Nice. That green pops looks good.
How's that?
Yeah.
Good?
That's 3/4 the reason I
And you
wear
can-
this thing is because it's
You
getting
can
good
scoot over
contrast
a
on
little
my.
bit more. Scoot
uh,
over to the
Dude,
side a little
no,
more.
it's like you just
Okay, there you
ruined
go.
everything that I just did.
Well, he wasn't even centered. You got-
Okay, so we've got this computer in the way now.
Turn this up
This
a
one?
little bit.
It's just gotta go
Yeah, so
down.
that, as it turns out, how high contrasty your thumbnail is has a kind of unnecessarily disproportionate view on the number of people who will click on your link.
Really?
Oh yeah, and so vibrant colors and contrast, green and red, bold, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
That's my brother makes all the thumbnails now, and he artificially.
I don't
tweaks
know if
all of
this
that
is-
and
Oh,
should do better.
So is this,
I might have to change I could change the input.
yeah, change it to,
Yeah, so we just go audio settings real quick here.
Are you planning on meeting your guys in the morning?
is this circle? We can also get it where. It's cardioid. You don't want that.
settings,
No, figure 8, yeah. You want,
You wouldn't want that one?
no, it's cardioid. That means that it doesn't pick up all the way around.
Yeah, but if we're all talking this way, it'll pick up this whole side, right?
It depends on the
Yeti
program,
X, is that the one you
probably
need?
that.
Yeah, okay. And then microphone, oh yeah, so the microphone input Yeti X.
Yep.
And then output, are you collecting?
No.
No, okay, so we don't
Yeah.
worry about the output there. So that should be working now, right? Gain down,
Appear like it is.
yeah.
Check 1 2, check 1 2, check which direction is this? Top, no.
Check 1 2, check 1 2,
What's up,
check,
guys?
check.
Going live here in a few minutes, so tune in.
Yeah,
We're gonna
system
have some little
settings,
talks with Edelman.
bus sound. Playtime effects, volume. Yeah, okay, so that's there.
Does this
I
need to
could
be
turn the
shared?
gain up a little bit. Well, this is up pretty high already.
Yeah.
That's like a freaking
Yeah.
pipe.
Yeah, it's definitely coming from over here.
Okay. Maybe the meter on the front there is,
Oh my god.
maybe that's the guest input. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
when the guests.
Yeah, when someone else is talking or something.
Watch it's coming out of the water. Watch this. Watch this thing jump. Alright.
Ooh, it's stirring.
Yeah, those wouldn't be tied into it at all.
What else would that even be? So if I go Chrome, okay, so maybe Chrome settings. No, it's gonna be, let's see, system.
I mean, this is turned up, right?
No.
It's on and turned up.
Yeah, I mean, it was picking up
What's up,
through the other
everybody?
menu
Hey, We're
there.
gonna go live here in a little bit. Jared's focusing
Check.
on some fishing
Check.
videos.
Um,
Be ready.
In fact, let
We're
me
gonna do some
just
gear
pull up
talk
the.
with, Edelman.
If you pull up the stream on the YouTube feed,
Stay tuned.
Yeah,
Should-
see if it.
yeah, just see if it's coming through. Because if it is, then
I'll pull up your camera again. So you can see the.
Why is this shit not working?
Oh, that's coming through.
Is it coming through? Is it not peaking? It's
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, it's coming. I can hear it pretty well through here. So
Okay,
it should be
good,
fine.
good.
Yeah, it's coming. I can hear it pretty well through here, so-
And we'll assume that's coming from the Yeti.
What's up, everybody? Hey, going live here. In a few minutes, we're going to do some gear talks, and we're going to hear from Josiah. There he is, from Megawatt. Stay tuned. Why is that not freaking happening? What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here with this guy. We're going to be going live here soon. So tune in. We're going to do some gear talk, and we're going to hear the story of Josiah from Megawatt. Stay tuned. There we go.
Talking about some devices and tell my story a little bit here with the Two Tree Guys podcast and the Academy.
Test.
It's awesome. Going live.
So I gave these headphones when we go on Instagram, because you can't shut off your volume on Instagram all the way. You got to plug these in and kind of hang them down.
Yep.
So it's
Got it.
stupid.
Good to know.
If not,
That's a good call.
so everybody will hear from my phone. That'll be here in the middle
Okay.
for the most part.
Put my phone in.
Tagged. Gotta remember to tag. You have to
I
tag.
know.
I hate that about stories. You have to tag it like as you're doing it.
I know I forgot to do it too. I can do mine again.
And then you gotta wait till the whole damn thing uploads until you get a chance to delete it.
Oh shit! Yeah, same thing with mine. It's uploaded. So what we'll do is when we start, I'll introduce, gear talks. I'll introduce you, and then we're just going to jump right into gear talks when I'm all done, and I'll have you just kick it off and be like, all right, we're going to be reviewing today this, and then you go into it, review it, and then we'll just start discussing. And then I'll keep the time too, so we'll keep between
Sweet.
10 to 20 minutes, probably around 15, talking about the device, talking about the safety features, why it was designed, why it was built, care for it, what to look for, anything like that, how to use it in different situations or what you like, whatever you need to put, tell everybody about it, just like you would be selling it for the most part.
Yep.
But it's also not a sales pitch. So
No, just
we're-
break it down.
we're just being straight up with it, and different products that are out there we'll talk about too if there's something that comes up.
Cool. What Instagram tag do you want me to hit?
Two Tree Guys.
Two Tree Guys.
Okay, let me delete this one so I can
It's not
tag.
two arrows. Is it at Two Tree Guys?
No, yeah, it's number 2.
Oh, two.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? All right, going live here in a minute. We're going to do some gear talks tonight, and then we're going to hear the story from this man over here. What's up? So stay tuned. Going live here soon.
Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, yeah, so you said the audio. So if let's just say I have this thing projecting my phone audio to Bluetooth
So
that I'm not wearing or whatever, is that going to do the same thing as this plugin just for the sake of power or no?
We tried that before and it didn't work.
Okay.
Try it again.
Nah, I'll do it works. I got enough power, I think, so
yeah,
Yep.
should
we'll go with the safe route here.
Okay.
Got 60%. That'll get us through.
Okay.
If it dies, no big deal.
Country.
Let's see. So when you go live, should I try and add in?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go live right now.
Sweet.
Let me get it going. All right. I'm going live. What's up, everybody? All right. Going to go live here in a minute. So stay tuned. 1 second.
You're gonna hear something come over the speaker here.
No kidding.
Just go live here in a minute. So stay tuned. 1 second. There we go. And then you go to Two Tree Guys live and then just request to come in.
Go live, should I try and add in?
Okay, hang on.
What's that, Jared? What's that? Come on. There we go.
Not me.
You got mute?
Yeah, I was muted.
You muted? So you got to put your headphones on.
There we go.
All right. Let's see.
Check.
Send request. There you are. Try
Okay.
adding in.
Okay. And then you'll have to mute it and then turn your volume as far down as you can.
Okay.
Test. There we go. Cool. Test. Okay, we good?
Check.
Yes, there you are.
Where's that coming from? Is that your phone? Yeah, is your volume all the way down?
Yeah, should be. Hang these out of the way completely.
Test.
I think that's yours. You don't have your headphones plugged in.
Huh? I don't. No, this is the mic.
Oh, that's the one we're using, huh?
Test.
Test.
What's that? Test.
No, it's definitely this one.
Yeah. Is it plugged all the way in? Oh man, we got.
Go away, Mike. Instagram. Oh, that's weird.
All right, guys. You know how we start this with
There we go.
technical difficulties as always.
Yep. So I'm muted now.
Usually it's with Jared.
Problem is, okay, yeah. Okay, we're good.
Okay,
Yep.
we're good. All right, test. We good. All
Not
right,
hearing nothing.
we're good, guys. Oh, thank Jesus. We're good. All right, Bob, how are we?
Now I'm gonna turn down the guest's mic a little bit. Do some speaking for me.
Yeah, well, I can talk a little bit here. At least that's the goal when we get going. I
All
do
right.
tend to mumble, so
He's
we'll
a mumbler. We got a mumbler. It's our first mumbler on the show, guys.
No, when you
It
get
won't be the last.
talking, it gets louder.
Oh,
So
most definitely.
yeah, so go ahead and give me a count to 5.
1, 2, 3,
Don't
4,
touch my
5. Here's a more energetic
No.
count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
There we go.
And
Not
Phil,
peeking too hard.
no, you're good. Phil, give me
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
and Jared.
Check.
Sounds good.
Mine sounds great.
All right, and we are
Do
It's a
not
good-
munch. Do not munch those damn nuts the whole time. Oh my God.
and we are recording.
Oh my
God.
gosh. Get rid of these damn nuts.
Mm.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogat. Did you spill that water all
No,
over?
I didn't. I didn't.
I swore I see water coming out.
No.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here with Two Tree Guys. Sitting here with my co-host, Jared Abergina. Hello. Yes. We bring you another episode in our series Gear Talk here. And we got a guest in our studio from Edelrid, Josiah Georgeson. Is that how you say it right?
Yeah.
Georgeson? All right.
Yeah, nailed it.
Work safety territory manager for Edelrid. And we're going to go over a few different products today. But before we get into that, guys, I say it every single week. You know the fee. Pay the fee. If you got something out of it, you liked it, please share this. Put it on your Instagram, social media, whatever you got to do. I don't care if you cassette tape and mail it to somebody. Please share this to somebody out there that's going to get something out of this. So We're going to jump right into the gear talk. I'm going to pass it right over to you, Josiah, and go for it, my friend. Let's start discussing some of this.
Well, shoot, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah.
Pleasure
definitely.
to be here. You guys do some fantastic work, and so I feel like it's quite the privilege to participate a little bit with y'all.
Yeah, you guys were shooting film all day today, and that's going to be coming out, soon on your channel, right?
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. We'll make sure everyone's tagged in here, but we've got some rare footage of Jared on video, laying down some gold nuggets too. So
Oh, good. Where do they got to go find that at when it comes out?
Strider Trees, stridertrees.com. I guess Strider, that would be my website. There'll be links to the YouTube. You can link to my YouTube through Instagram or whatever, but it's the channel Strider Trees.
Hey, cool.
And we'll get links to you guys too. We'll put it on maybe I'll make a playlist and just link the two. It's so
That'd
we
be
can
cool.
get them
Yeah.
together.
You got a compilation.
Yeah, get a Academy playlist going on.
I like it.
Yeah, so we got a couple of sweet little bits of gear here. One of them is a new one, and it's not out yet. So it is and it isn't. It's we've got the manufacturing done. Production is happening. This is a production model. It's just a matter of getting it here from wherever it's being built. But so those of you who don't know, Edelrid's a German company, and exactly as you imagine German everything, that's what it is. Like it's the BMW. It's like, hey, we just kind of thought about everything and then over-engineered it a little bit. And so long as you use it right, it's beautiful.
How long has this been in kind of R&D and stuff?
Years.
Years.
Yeah, probably it's at least 3 years.
Are you even able to be talking about that it's coming out?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the first shipment, we're expecting the first shipment to land like early spring,
Okay.
end of
Awesome.
February, March. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a couple hundred. Most of those will probably end up being samples going out to the dealerships because Edelrid doesn't sell direct to consumer.
Yeah.
But they will be available pretty much anywhere you can get tree gear.
Gotcha.
And but rope access guys in particular.
I'm
so-
excited about this. I mean, this is kind of stem from, from my past working with the rig, something very similar, just a major upgrade. And I think that's pretty darn cool. I'm excited to play it. And I got to play around with it today. And I was impressed.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah, the rig really did good things. Like when it came out, it was especially safe. It was really consistent. The fact that you could lock it off just by positioning the handle was really slick. And then there've been a number of devices that have come out that are similar in function, kind of the primary mechanism being this camming action, right? So the
Mhm.
rope feeds through here. When you weight it, the weighting of the rope activates this cam, pinches it over here, bunch of friction that gets engaged the whole way around the cam as soon as you weight it. So they close off really solidly. Like when you're sitting in it, you don't feel like it's going to slip through. You don't feel like you need to put a backup knot. Like it is just so solid. And this one, because it's rope access, but also because Edelrid comes from rock climbing, it's good from 8.9 millimeter all the way up to 11.8.
Oh, wow.
So it's got a huge
It's a
range.
big range.
Yeah, right. And you can, for a real beginner rock climber, it would be much safer than any other device because it just is so reliable with the camming. Unlike the Greek gear, which is kind of designed to be more fluid,
Right.
this one is not, but it makes it safe.
Yeah. So would this be rated for, rescue as well, double load?
Yes, yeah. So you have to, similar to the rig or the ID, if you're going to rescue, it's good for up to 200 kilos, but you're supposed to put a second carabiner in. So it gives you just another little bend in your rope, gives you a little bit more control,
Gotcha.
but it is rated to do that.
That's a major benefit compared to the Petzl rig in the ID where you're combining in one unit.
Yeah, definitely. And the other kind of thing that this does that is the handle. If you pull it past it, you got to swivel it all the way around. And it really only functions in kind of one orientation. It's got to be facing the same way most all the time. This one, it really doesn't matter which way. As you were kind of experiencing when it's on the swivel, some people will want to spin it around towards them and they'll activate it this way. Some people will activate with their other hand and they'll hold it over. And it's in the product manual that you can use this one-handed if you practice. And it's kind of a expert's device, but they've just decided that no, it's valid, it's safe to do that.
What I really like about this, and it's really hard to tell you guys just by seeing it right here, until you see this thing on the rope, it doesn't give it justice. So what he was saying is, being able to use that lever in both directions for descent is huge. I mean, that's
Yeah, and
Never been
it's
seen.
very ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna figure out a comfortable way to use it just by playing with it pretty quick.
What about the locking mechanism to close the gate? How does that?
Yeah, so similar to the ID, and then there's another CT makes one, the D4, I think. That's got this anti-panic feature. So if you over pull it and you freak out, and because we figured out actually most people clench when they're panicking, it will pull past the release mechanism and then lock again in place facing down. So that again keeps it out of the way, makes it so that, let's just say it got caught, the rope flicked it up, and now a branch caught it and it flicked it all the way over. Again, now it's going to hold it out of the way, so it's going to release that. So it would be all but impossible to accidentally jam it in such a way that it just keeps going,
Right.
because everything about the design is tilted towards keeping that from happening.
Yep.
Now, the one slick advantage here too is in this configuration in particular, this is actually how, when I've used it, this is how I prefer to run it. I will weight the running end, I'll hold it down, I'll flip it into the panic mode, and now I'll put my hand over the rope coming out over the nose here and add a little bit of friction with my fingers, and then just move that with the heel of my hand, and I've got a lot of control. So you don't actually have to reset it, you don't have to stand up, you don't have to spin the handle around. It'll just start releasing as soon as you're ready for it.
Yeah.
As soon as you do stand up, it snaps back and you're good to go again.
I think one of the biggest features that I seen when you were out there that got me after the fact, I was using that. You're like, well, if you just push that little cam right there, you can feed it back in. And I was like, oh gosh, it's awesome.
Right. So the first time I've used this, I did the same thing. I was like trying to hold this in just the right and then pull slack through to make a redirect. And it was annoying. I was like, what the heck? And then one of the engineers told me, yeah, it's got this little cam spot for your thumb that you just hold that down and the cam stays open. You pull slack out. It's super easy.
Genius.
Yeah. So it's
Genius.
very, very simple, compact. Like there's no way to catch stuff. The other kind of neat little feature here is it's got this 2-stage lock. So
That's what I was actually referring to. Yeah, with the plate there.
yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see where the cameras are. There's too many of them.
They can
but-
see from
Oh, from
this
here.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got this little red indicator that says, you're not closed all the way, right? And it's actually got on this side too. So no matter which way it's oriented, you can see the little warning, hey, it's not locked. But it actually still keeps it from opening up. It'll go this way, but it won't go farther that direction. And the reason we have that is actually because of another feature, which is related. This carabiner gap here is really big, so you can put a carabiner all the way around. It's not going to get caught on the gate, or not likely to.
Mhm.
But you can still open this with the carabiner in place. So again, you don't have to take it off your harness. You don't have to disconnect it. You're not at risk of dropping. But what we found is that if you close this while it's under load, so if I'm holding this down and then you close this slide, what can happen is that slide can contact the carabiner and be prevented from closing. And so that's when it happens and I notice it. But a few times that I've done that, it's like, oh, it's red, no, shut it.
Right.
Now, the reason we accept that weird interaction with the carabiner is because once it's closed, the carabiner actually keeps it from being able to open. So now under weight, now it won't open because the carabiner is actually holding it. So it was like, it's a little bit two sides of that thing, but it gives you some peace of mind when you're actually using it. Like you just can't come open under load. So that's kind of slick. It's not very heavy. It's a little bit lighter than ID. And like like I said, the rope range is wider by a small margin, but that matters because basically all the ropes we use are 11 to 11.7, 12. And I've actually run it on 12 mil and it works fine.
What's the slip factor on that? You know, how many?
Like as far as the sit back?
How many cans because obviously,
right.
You rate this thing for X amount of pounds, it's going to slip before failure. So is there a slip factor? I forget how many cans the rig was. I just, most people don't.
Right. It's designed to slip under a certain load.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a safety feature to do that. I'm not sure what that is offhand. Yeah. That'd be a good thing to know. My experience and what I was told by the engineers is that it changes a little bit depending on the rope you use.
Oh, yeah.
So they realized you could actually run it on a smaller rope, but it starts to fail the static test because of the way it pinches here. So it doesn't slip on the smaller loads because it bites so hard, but on the bigger ones, theoretically, you would get a slip somewhere, but not under any normal load.
Yeah.
Of course, again, you want it to a little bit, but I should figure out what that number is. That'd be a good one to know.
No, I like it. I think it's, I'm excited to see this come out. I mean, I think with the SRS devices we have out there, we kind of ran away from this a little bit. But for, I say, smaller trees, rescue, working on spar, that's one thing that I've always loved about the rig is working on spar.
Right.
You know,
Gets you so close.
so close, so
Yeah.
compact. And then, you know, the easy access to rescue as well. You know, most, you know, firefighters or, you know, anybody entry level can figure out how to grab a lever and pull it
Right.
on it. You know?
And they're going to be familiar already somewhat with the ergonomics.
Mhm.
You know, it's not so foreign. There are a few really time tested devices that sort of fit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like a lot of those, like the D4, it's got stainless on all of the wear points. So it's
Wow.
going to hold up. I mean, part of the sustainability goals of Edelrid is build stuff that can last as best as we can.
Mhm.
And that's part of the design philosophy that goes into this.
So where did the name come from?
They've got a thing about power, like electric power related things. We've got the
I
Megawatt.
thought you meant like power, like they are Germans, man. They
No,
do
it's
whatever
not-
they do.
right.
What's the name? What's the name of this again?
This one's called the Megawatt, but then we got the fall arrestor, which is the fuse, and our special device that they use for mountaineering is the Joule and the Gigajoule, and so they just got a theme there with the electronics,
Stick
Yeah.
with what works.
right?
Gotcha. So when is this product coming out?
It's technically out. We're just waiting for stock. It should be in stock March to May, depending on we got two shipments. We got one
Yeah.
that we're hoping to get by air as soon as we can, and then the main one will come by sea. You know, summertime, before summer.
Awesome. Now, what about any of the maintenance or any how to inspect that before you climb on it?
Yeah. So this, like many of the hardware devices, we have to inspect it every day before use. It's just part of your routine. Obviously, you function check it. You put it on. You pull on. You load it. You see, is it slipping? Is it not? Also, you're going to check. There's a handful of little screws inside here. Most of those screws aren't critical. They hold on to little plastic plates, but you want to make sure those are there. Particularly this one on the inside. If it's loose, you might end up causing wear on your rope that you don't anticipate. You're going to be moving it around, opening it up, looking at as best you can at anywhere there could be cracks. You know, I would be looking around here. You're going to check the function of this, make sure it's actually springing back. You're going to load it, push it all the way through to the panic mode, make sure again that it holds you and it's not pulling back. But they're designed, I mean, the lifespan on these things is basically as long as it's functioning and as long as it doesn't have any obvious wear, it should be good to go.
Yeah. So what's your favorite rope that you, I mean, diameter, I mean, you don't have to say the exact rope, but like maybe more so, what's your favorite diameter running that?
Smaller the better, I found actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of just how it feels to use, I was running actually a rock climbing rope in it, just playing with it. We've got a Interstatic ProTech version that's really dynamic and it's a little bit smaller and stretchy and it's just butter through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So softer, smaller ones. I like the Woodpecker of all of our industrial ropes, definitely the best. We were running it there in not Poison Ivy, Calamine, which is like a Yale Blue Moon variant of thing. And that was smooth. That was one of the better ropes I played with it.
Yeah. Which is surprising because, you know, coming from, I always have to compare it to the rig because they're very similar, but you start putting those diameter ropes in there, you know, closer to say a Poison Ivy or whatnot, and they just it's not as smooth.
Poison
It's
Ivy's
tight.
11.7,
Yep.
and I think the rig's only like maxed out at 11.5.
Yeah.
So it you know, technically whatever, it's just not supposed to deal with the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But then again, I've never used the rescue one. Have you used the rescue ID?
No.
Okay, so that one's supposed to do up to 13 something.
Yeah, but it's just too big.
It is. It's huge. Right, and this will be smaller. It'll be smaller. It'll also be a little bit cheaper, a little less expensive. Yeah, we're real happy.
What
with
is
it.
the cost of that?
I'll see when it arrives, but it's supposed to be right around 220,
Gotcha.
which is totally reasonable on the market. Yeah.
Anything else on the product?
A little RFID tag that's worth noting. So we're working on, we're kind of developing some software still, but a lot of our work safety products have an integrated RFID tag. And the idea is work safety inspections are a hassle, and it's really handy to be able to
nice,
just
smart.
scan your whole like inventory and be able to, okay,
That's
here's
smart. Talk a little bit about that a little more.
Yeah, so I mean, we have requirements for inspections, both the daily inspection, the biannual inspection for
Yeah.
certain pieces, and ideally you need to have documentation. You keep track of that, and it's a huge hassle if you've got a whole bunch of gear. Also, if things get lent out, if someone takes it, you can have systems that'll let people check it out. You know who it's with, what crew it's on, or whatever.
Mhm.
If there's an accident associated with a particular one, it doesn't get mixed up before it gets sent back to the factory, whatever. So the idea is to integrate that with the hardware and then use our app. And now all of a sudden everything's just in a system and it's going to be faster. And
Who else
simpler.
does that right now?
So I don't know anyone else doing that with their, like not
Yeah.
with the hardware embedded. I know Petzl's got like a QR code thing, then they've got an app that is similar.
That's
but
cool.
This will be much easier. Yeah, right.
That is cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. Also, you know, you when you buy these things, you can register the information of that device, like okay, how old is it, when was it purchased, all those goodies. Our Tree Rec saddle has that too. It's got the little spot, and so unfortunately that software is not really. I don't know if it's not reliable yet or just not available yet. It's still kind of in development. So the hardware side is slower. We wanted to get that and start releasing it because the actual hardware is not that complicated. It's pretty common and pretty available, but they're still dialing in the app. They're still dialing in, you know, that other side of it, but that'll be a big part of it going forward. On the RFID tag, so the advantage of that over some of the other styles, there's also near field NFC, which is kind of like what your phone uses for payment stuff.
Yeah.
The NFC is similar. It's super cheap, and like everyone's phone uses it. There's an app called Scannable, and they give these little devices. You can put them on anything. Sweet product, really cool. It's gonna be great for like individual people like me who only have a handful of things that they want to keep track of. But the problem is you got to be right on top of it. Whereas the RFID, you can kind of wave your wand past a line of inventory, and all the products shows that all the product data. You've got more distance, a little more flexibility that way. So the adventure parks, for example, they love it.
Mhm.
They got RFID tags in all their full body harnesses.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's where we really, we know it's gonna have its place.
That's cool. That's really cool. You know, just I mean, it's being used out there, but to see it used like that, and you're going to see a lot more adapters.
Yep. Well, and it's going to start becoming a requirement. I know
Yeah.
they're already working on something like that for the tree climbing competitions, like in a system to help speed inspections along. It's like, okay, let's see your documentation on when this was bought, and
Gotcha.
yeah, and so it's going to become much more prevalent, but it's got to start on the cutting edge first. And if there's anything Andover does well, they try to be cutting edge.
I see that. I see that.
These guys they've been in the works for a long time.
Cool.
Awesome.
Any last comments?
No, good stuff, man. I'm excited for that. I like to see how the industry takes it and hopefully make a comeback for that style of climbing. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, even if not the trees, the windmill guys will love it. The window washers, like that's where it's going to really shine. Those are the guys who use these types of devices all day, every day. And we've been giving them out and getting great feedback. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think for people coming in and go, how would I apply that? When would I use it? Why does that make sense? I would say if you're, the climber, a lot of pitch, where, your ascent method is maybe a rope wrench and you're just tired of changing out hitch cords all the time, you can still use that to get up the tree. But if you're mainly stripping up, blocking, dropping a top, coming down, drop a stick, really good device. I mean, this thing's going to take over. You buying hitches for the entire year. Your work position is going to be great. It might be the new device for it.
I'm going to use it for crane operations for sure. When you get stuck at the top of the crane, you use it to belay down, take the rope right out of it, yank the rope out of the crane. Like it's going to make that so efficient as it is.
Nice.
And it'll be nicer than the akimbo in some ways because it, like you said, it'll tolerate some of that pitchier material better.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Cool. There you guys have it. The Megawatt. The
The
Megawatt.
Megawatt.
The Megawatt. Coming to a store near you.
Megawatt.
No, thanks for sharing that. I know you got some other products we're going to get into here in a little bit. But there you guys have it, guys. There's Gear Talk. You just heard about it from Josiah. Megawatt by Etarid. Go check it out. Go buy it. Go use it. send us, DM us some comments and what you think of it. So remember the fee, share it. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.
Did that one so quick, man. You didn't even give me a chance to close out.
You're gonna close out?
I was just like,
Oh, I know. I did go fast on that. I was thinking about some other shit. Like,
thinking about dinner.
let me see.
I wonder if that'll save to my
You
like feed as well, just because I was in there, or if it's only
No.
gonna save to your.
I'm gonna post it here,
Okay.
and then you'll be able to share it.
Oh, okay,
So you
sweet.
didn't tell everybody on live to hang on because we're gonna start another one. You just went and cut it off. Now everybody's like, oh shit.
No, they'll. It notifies them.
You ruined it.
I'm gonna check the YouTube one real quick
Oh
and
my
see if we got any
gosh.
questions here.
We got a little bit of a feed going. Let's see. Live roll. Yes, I have. With ground pounder. Oh. Couple of knuckleheads. Well, oh well.
Nothing bearing repeating.
Yeah. Are you ready to go? Are you gonna check all your messages?
No, I gotta post this one before I put it on there.
Yeah, so I do my best to move the camera when you guys are telegraphing that you're showing something, but it doesn't, like, the cameras are on all the time, but it's not recording your particular camera. So if you like hold something up to it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, you're just holding it
No,
up
I was
there.
showing it to the.
Way too long now.
Okay.
Oh, I got
Yeah,
pee.
And anyway,
it's usually.
Is there one to pick that would just kind of by default?
yours, gives me the, like, I'm gonna like hold it up there, or if you just kind of hold it up, I can get quite a bit with the wide
Oh,
angle.
you can kind of
And
zoom
then
in.
I'm gonna get rid of this because
There we
this
go.
always happens. So you don't think about someone grabbing some nuts and then putting it in
and
front
leaving
of,
it there right in the middle.
right in front of them. So little things like that. But I got a lot of the wide shots as much as I could. And when you went to your camera, you were mostly in frame like 90% of the time. But every once in a while, like the red portion might be at the bottom or something like that.
Right.
But it was 90% in frame. But otherwise, it went pretty good.
Did you guys ever climb with fall arresters? Like the old like pencil ASAP, for example?
I was never a climber,
Oh, okay.
so I didn't climb with shit. Okay, let's see if this posts. The reception sucks in here. There we go. It's posted. It's Megawatt with, yeah, 2 T's?
Yes.
W-A-T-T.
W-A-T-T, yeah. Correcto.
Were you checking up here, Phil?
What was I checking up?
Yeah, because all of a sudden I saw your head jump in the camera, and
Oh, I was moving this a little bit. We weren't all the way in the frame. It's computer.
Did you guys build this, pour this epoxy?
Yeah, and my friend of mine, Giselle, we did our first pour and absolutely botched it. It's terrible. This whole inside here is like all these
This
bubbles.
is your first pour?
Yeah.
This is really good for a first pour.
Dude, look at the river.
Oh, I could see all the flaws, but I'm just saying I've seen much worse for a first pour. Yeah, no,
No.
it's so tough. Which ones you guys use?
The Moss deep pour.
Okay.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It was we did like, it was like 5 pours. It was like two pours just to get.
how much is it a
four,
gallon?
4 pours just to get this.
A lot.
Yeah, I think it's like
$60 a gallon or something.
So yeah, so it was almost, it was like $500 for a 5 gallon, like 4 something, right?
And how many of those did you use?
Shit, 2. But I had a leak, so
Right.
we first pour
Some of it ended up on the stage, I remember.
Most of it. Yeah, most of it gone.
Yeah.
It was so, it's just so
It's so disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of these. It's so painful.
The problem is not only did it leaked and then it hardened
Right.
overnight, and then it hardened and it stuck, the whole thing stuck to the deck inside of the stage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't move it,
Right.
and I'm over there now. I can't change the frame on it. I can't rebuild it.
Oh,
I'm
you guys,
like,
you talking about how you fucked up the table?
yeah, I cocked the shit
There's
out
a
of it.
little bit of white showing behind you there, Jared, on the wall. The other side, yeah. Those things move so easily.
Yeah, anyway, so we poured this.
How's
First
my
pour good,
video,
second pour
Bob?
cracked.
It
I
looks good. You want me
grind
to
it all
pull it up real
out.
quick?
Oh.
So we did another pour,
Uh-huh.
and then that was good. And then the next pour, same thing. It all cracked and bubbled, ground it all out again.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, that's good.
Like, I never want to do this again. Ever.
Do you have any joinery like going between the river, like metal framing going horizontally, or is it just it's just held together with the epoxy?
Just held together with box.
Okay.
And originally it was just supposed to be a nice, clean, kind of gray, smoky pour.
Mhm.
And then once we cracked it, it was still some stuff we can see in there. So I'm like, we'll get a bed of black river rock and we'll leave some black, smoky river rock in there. And did that to kind of hide it.
Yep.
And then that shit got messed up too. So now we just have like bubbles. We have a bubble river. And in some areas you can see the rock in there.
It started to clear up a little bit. Like on Phil's side,
Oh,
you can see some of the rocks now where you couldn't see them before.
yeah. It takes a couple years.
You got a good polish on it though. That's not easy either. Just like getting that finish decent.
Yeah, and that wasn't even much, man. This was like kind of,
That's pretty much how the pour came out then, huh?
Yeah,
Like
I mean, we did
that slit last.
we did a little bit, but it was a lot, man.
Yep.
It was a lot of money and epoxy. Well, it would have been great if it didn't leak everywhere. Yeah, and then I welded out. This is my first base that I welded out and did
Yeah, I love
a
that
cool little
base.
frame. Yeah, I thought
That's
the
fun.
design came out pretty cool.
Okay, we're ready. All right, let's get us on live. Okay,
And you're recording.
all righty. What's up, everybody? All right, we're going live again with another gear talk, so stay tuned for a few minutes. It's coming on. 1 second, guys. There's Jared. All right, then just mute yours.
Larry.
It's usually Jared, man. I'm glad there's somebody else fucking it all up.
It's
All
the
right.
it's the privilege of the noob.
The new, usually it's Jared, and sometimes we think we're like, we got this, we totally got this. I'm like, good job, dude, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, my phone died.
Or my Wi-Fi is not on.
My Wi-Fi, or it needs to be rebooted. Like you just downloaded the new version right now. That, oh man. All right, here
We're
we
tree
go.
people, not tech people. There's a
I'm-
reason for that.
I'm really bad.
Yeah, he's really bad, really bad. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here with two tree guys, joined as always. Well, not always. Mr. Jared Abergina.
Hey,
That's Jared.
I'm always here.
You don't want in on that.
Hey, 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 hey. What is that? That's like Fat
I
Albert.
don't know
Doesn't
what you
Fat
want me to
Albert say
man.
that?
Sometimes- yeah, it's a weird introduction.
Hey,
Like,
hey, hey. Well, guys, listen, if it's your first time tuning into the show and you guys never heard us before, what you're going to hear today is talk. It's where we bring some alliances, some partners, manufacturers in to talk about different gear, different products, usage, safety features, maintenance, so on and so forth for that we get to hear all sorts of different gears that are out there in the market. We also have another segment that's What's Your Story, where we travel around to different trade shows and we get to hear people's stories, short stories about their life of getting in the industry, wisdom that they wisdom. He's laughing because if anybody knows Missy Sue 67 on Instagram, I'm on Instagram right now on my computer, and it just keeps repeating a thing of her dancing.
I'm looking at his screen. I'm like, there goes Missy. She's going to town.
But we're gonna have them on to hear their story. So we have What's Your Story, and then we have a full length episode where we have individuals that are traveling that come and visit us in the studio, and we have a full on episode of talking about who knows what for that. And then we also have our safety talks that are going to be coming here soon. Don't know what the title of it's going to be, but safety talks, safety flashes. So first time listening, if you guys laughed, you guys got something out of this show today or this morning or tonight, whenever you're listening to it, the only fee you have to do is share it. If you do want to send money, I will take it, but just share it. That's all we ask. Share the knowledge that's being shared with you guys out there. That's how our show grows. That's how we get more followers and we do more of this kind of stuff. So, we have Josiah Jordson here with us today from EdoRid. He is the work safety territory manager for EdoRid. So we're going to have you jump into the new product, man. What do we got?
Thank you. Yeah, so this one's not new, but it is a pretty sweet product. So anyone who's climbed any length of time has seen a hand ascender, whether it's outside on the rock or in trees. They certainly have their place. They're real handy, pun intended, devices. This one in particular is EdoRid's take. So EdoRid in Germany, they are fantastic engineers. So they got to hang out with these guys this last year, and they just sit there and look at something like, I think we can make that a little better, and then they do it again. I think we can make that a little better, and then and once they've done that 3 or 4 times, and then okay, all right, we can release it now. We'll never stop. And so I think that's just like what shines this.
Will they bring that product back in and relook at it in a few years?
Yeah, well, and there's kind of an ongoing like feedback loop with our professionals, especially with work safety, because we're just a little bit newer to that.
Yeah.
EdoRid's a 160-year-old company. It's been around a long time. They invented the Kern mantle rope way back when. So everyone climbs on. Everyone climbs on double braids now. Like that was originally their design way back when that happened. But anyway, sorry, I totally got derailed there.
Let me ask you this: is there any products that I asked, do they keep kind of
like
after they put it out? Do they come back and revisit it in a couple of years? And is there any products out there that they go, this is perfected, we haven't changed this for 10 years?
That's a good question. They've got some that have been around a long time because they are just gold, especially on the work safety or on the rock climbing side. They're a belay device, the Joule and the Gigajoule, which is just the iteration of that. It's a assisted belay, phenomenal. And I don't think they've changed that in a long, long time. There's not really a reason to. In its niche, it's just the best.
Mm-hmm.
But they do generally have kind of an iterative process where it goes out to their professionals, goes out to their climbers, all the people who are associated with it, and they just comes back. The feedback comes back,
Gotcha.
And they go back after it.
It's kind of like that rope you sent us a couple years ago to use, that hasn't been on the market. And where's the rope?
I got it in my other shop.
I'm excited about that rope. We ended up producing it. The problem was that time they got it to you too late. They had already pretty much nailed the design on it. And for whatever reason, they didn't end up producing the larger of the 2 diameters. But we are revisiting that because they're professionals, because the people who they talk to are like, we like this rope, but it's just a little small. And we like this rope, but it's not the right color. And so those are problems we can deal with pretty easy.
What color do they want?
We want to do an Academy special. We want to do it all red with a little black stripe in there.
Man, that'd be
exciting.
Oh, that will
Just like the most vibrant red I can get.
Oh man, that would be
Gotta
awesome.
be able to see it. In my opinion, the safety of a rope is entirely dependent on how well you can see it.
Yeah.
And everything else is secondary. So that's in the works. We got to talk about that some more.
Okay.
That's one of those exciting developments that we're looking forward to.
Oh man.
But as far as this hand ascender goes, it's a hand ascender. We've had those forever. Well, this has got a couple of neat little things that aren't in any others. Almost every hand ascender you see is made from a stamped steel or stamped aluminum, right? It's a solid piece that is quickly folded into place. It's a relatively inexpensive production method. But this one, they go one extra step, and you can see if you look down it lengthwise, it looks bent, right?
Mhm.
That's how it's designed to be. They make these left and right-handed specifically. So this is the left-handed one. When you pull, you don't pull in line, you actually pull a little bit of an angle. And so the fact that they kinked the top of this over a little bit actually makes it more comfortable to use. And it allows the rope to pass through more smoothly, I guess. Like it doesn't interfere with your hand. It's not rubbing
Interesting.
on your knuckles as much. They
Huh.
base this design off of their tools, their ice climbing tools. And those guys, if you ever watch ice climbers, they're literally hanging on these things just for minutes, sometimes hours at a time, nonstop.
Oh.
And so it's designed from that handle shape, that handle, the angle on it, how it sits, it kind of comes
I can
underneath.
see it.
And so it ends up being a very comfortable device to hang from, like to really use with a lot of force, a lot of energy. You can use it, what's the term? Like you don't have to be, you don't feel like you're stressing your joints when you're hanging on it
Right.
because of how it's curved. And it's all fairly subtle, so it's hard to show on the video. But in use, if you compare it to any of the other hand ascenders, it's just not even close.
Well, this makes sense. I mean, comparing this already just by the looks of it to the old, the really old hand ascenders, the grip was directly on the side.
Right.
And so from that standpoint, you trying to lift up on it, your ergonomics, I mean, you want to almost, it's harder to take something like this and lift it straight up. And if you don't, you're basically turning the cam on top and it makes it harder to drag, right?
Yep.
So having you kind of push from underneath makes all the sense in the world. You can have more of a,
It's such an experiential thing too. It's like you see two of these things on the shelf and it's just not obvious why it's so much better. But after that iterative process, after people are playing with it, playing with it, that really gets optimized.
One of the questions that came over is, will this decrease wear on ropes because of the new design?
Will it decrease? Well, your hand ascender really shouldn't wear your rope at all if it's being used properly. One of the concerns is the teeth, right? And the potential for the teeth to grab the sheath real aggressively. It's one of the reasons why you don't want to ever shock load this if you're using it as a backup or something along those lines. So I can't imagine it increasing or decreasing, making much difference at all. In used properly, it's essentially insignificant. Like it's not
Gotcha.
This thing's designed for use down to 8 mil, so you can use really thin and reliably use it. And that's a pretty typical size for a rock climber. And they said that rock climbers will use this device as their mechanical advantage system for hauling their bags up the big walls and things like that. So wear is just not really even a factor so much. And with this device especially, but I think kind of generally with hand ascenders when used properly. In my particular experience, so the teeth on this are a little bit smaller than like on the Petzl one, because that's the one I had previously. They're not quite as long. So if they do penetrate.
Yeah, I mean, Petzl's been known to have the most aggressive tooth of any cam.
I wonder why. There's some necessity to that. It doesn't seem obvious to me because the cam itself jams the rope up against this plate and that adds a lot of friction.
Yeah.
It's just only barely necessary. In fact, our fall ascender doesn't have teeth at all. It's like this little ridged and it just pinches in there. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, like the old Gibbs, lanyards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Those don't have teeth. They're just a little ribbed rocker.
Mm-hmm.
The other kind of slick deal about this guy is that you've got two little places to attach a carabiner. And so if you need more than just a 3-to-1,
one.
yeah, this was that. That's I know right on the camera too. It's got a little bit of sharp edge. But so you've got two spots to put carabiners, and we have a carabiner called the Axiom, which has a little integrated pulley, and it's very light and minimal. There's not any heavier than, it's actually quite a bit lighter even than this triple locker, and it's a double locker. So if you're not using it for life support, it still gives you a little bit of extra protection. But the idea is it's twofold. So for one, if I needed to throw in a quick 5-to-1, I wouldn't want to put 1,000 pounds of pull on a rope through a cam. But if I'm hurt, or if I need to make some leverage fast to do a rescue, or if, for example, I'm just not a real able-bodied guy, we have a lot of older climbers, like a lot of older tree guys.
What are you trying to say?
The more ergonomic you make it, the better, right? I mean, and you can do that quickly and easily. It keeps them a little bit separate. They're not going to be rubbing and interfering. They're spaced vertically off each other. So that is kind of a nice little feature that, frankly, I wouldn't have thought of, but the Germans did. Now, the other cool aspect of that is the common use for these is in a rad system. So you have your hand above you, you're advancing that, and then you're pulling down on your rope as it goes through the carabiner or through the pulley, and you get a little mechanical advantage on as you're advancing yourself up, particularly with like a cam descender where you need that rad system to ascend it. This little extra 3 inches there is 3 inches more throw on a 3-to-1 for every movement. And that actually makes a pretty significant difference because the closer I can get these two hands, the more I'm maxing out my reach. So it's a fairly significant efficiency improvement when used that way, just by having this secondary
I like it.
little attachment point here.
Yeah, pretty sexy. So I did some testing with hand ascenders back in the day when I was working with Petzl, and it was more so to prove a point that Prusik cords as backups don't work.
Prusik cord as backups.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because in our industry, you can't run 100% of life support off that. You
Right.
need either secondary or you stack a Prusik on top, and that was kind of the way back in the day. You just carabiner, Prusik. When it doesn't make any sense. Like if it were to fail, there's not enough time for that Prusik to catch, or if you make the Prusik tight enough, then
It's interfering the whole time you're using it.
exactly, you got to
Yeah.
push up a hard Prusik. So did a bunch of tests on that with 225 pounds at basically a 1 foot, 2 foot lanyard. So we just dropped even.
Factor 2 fall or factor 1 fall?
Yeah. So that 220 pounds on a Carabiner rope, that thing gone 15 feet, and then the
Strip the sheath. 15
stripped the
feet down.
sheath, yeah, and then it actually jammed inside the hand center, stopping it.
Right.
And the double braid that we use all the way to the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And
that's not much.
how much rope did you have underneath? Because I would think that would generally jam up, but
Yeah, we had maybe 100 feet of rope down there.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Stripped it. That's wild.
No, I mean the fall was only maybe 20 feet.
Right.
The length of the rope that was down there was
Yeah.
probably 100 feet. So kind of cool. And that's, with the way I look at that, that could happen any day. That's you going up and then stepping off on a limb.
Mm-hmm. And having it drop out and just break. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, I mean, we're not all 220. I mean, I wish. But
don't wish that.
I mean, if you're as ripped as you are, it's not so bad.
So maybe having less cams, maybe that would be maybe less tear.
Yeah, I wonder. I would assume just so. Here's a different device that I play with a lot, and it's a locking ascender. In the locking configuration, this guy, so you unlock it. This is basically the same kind of device. It's just a cam that jams the rope in here, right? And when it's locked, then it functions exactly the same. It just goes up and it won't come down. But this is a braided fall arrest device. This is designed to take a factor 2 fall at the length of this the lanyard, which is, I mean, that ends up being almost 2 feet or so. So it's a pretty significant drop, and it doesn't need the teeth. It just doesn't need it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, at least in the work safety realm, that kind of going away.
Now, are you guys going to be creating a double hand one? Somebody asked.
We don't currently have one, and as far as I know, we don't have one in development. No, but
So-
I do have a trick that I've used to convert a single to a double that has worked fine.
What's that?
In fact, it's one of my competition backups that I've used. Basically, you can take a carabiner, and I use throw line, and you put it like that, and you whip it really tightly to the to the body of it, and then that actually grabs pretty well. And then you can also stow it right on it just ends up becoming your stowing point on your harness.
Okay.
So I've got one that I use like
I
that.
like it. That's awesome.
Yeah, but actually you want to put it on the backside because you don't want it to interfere with the rope falling through.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we don't have one. That'd be, it wouldn't actually even work with this design because of the kink.
Right.
So it wouldn't sit flat. I'm not that you couldn't make a flat one and put the two together, but we don't.
Well,
Yeah, so that's the Ailerid Hand Cruiser.
The hand cruiser.
Yeah, and all of their ascenders they call cruisers. The hand cruiser, the foot cruiser, the knee cruiser, the tree cruiser.
Everything's a cruiser.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
They've got one that goes on the gaffs, which is kind of slick too. So it bolts right where the spike bolts go through, and
Cool.
let you use a foot ascender with your gaffs on, which is pretty nice too.
Well, the last question somebody asked on here is, how many green shirts do you own?
Oh, probably more than you would guess.
Oh,
I have ones in bags that still haven't even been opened yet.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you bring some green shirts for us?
No, they're all small.
That might fit Jared. You wear medium. Well, there you guys have it, guys. The hand cruiser
Yep.
for you there. And, last episode I was on was closing out. Jared was a little upset that he didn't get a chance to close out. So we're going to let him close out today for us.
Oh, no, I don't do closeouts. No, not at all. No, I'm going to pass the buck on that one.
All right. Well, that was the closeout there, guys. If you liked it, you got something out of it, share it today. We appreciate you guys listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful, great day, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Peace.
Adios.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Somebody says, Jared, you still kill Footlock. I saw it at Treetopia. Like, I don't know. I didn't Footlock at Treetopia. So it must have been somebody else.
You're like, that's Mark Chisholm.
I mean, that's a good guy to get mistaken for, but I don't know how.
No, that's not
He doesn't have any melanin.
yeah, right. He'll be down here in March to his podcast.
Sweet.
Hand cruiser.
I got a message that says they're hiring climbers.
That we are?
Oh, I got a poll you should see the results for. You'd like this. I liked your little technique there, straight out of the arborist catalog. There's a great,
Is there?
Yeah, there's a real one of those classic illustrations from that guy who did him for Cheryl for all the years
Mhm.
of someone doing that trick, flipping it around.
That's funny.
It's funny. That's great because it's a little bit of a systematic way to get the right arc, because it's like that little bit of a downward flick to get it to come back up to you.
Yeah. It works great with crane work too. Big slings trying to get around.
Yeah, check this out.
Blair you can't tag Blair? What the hell?
What's that one I'm looking for?
Where'd it go? Oh, so there. Oh, so this is the question I said. I took a look at your knot wall and I said, how many of these knots do you use? And 25% literally said I make them up as I go. So the biggest group was 4 to 8. It's 34%, but
Wow. It's a full-time job, man, you got going on trying to keep people engaged.
it's tedious, yes, but
Oh.
It's a lot of work.
you can get used to it though. It's not the bigger problem, right, is when you don't have content. Like when you're not actively doing things that are generating videos.
Yeah.
I'm not climbing. It's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Find something interesting to share. We do interesting work, when it comes down to it. So it's really not so bad.
Did you get a lot of content today?
Yeah, a lot of good videos. I'll have to steal some from Josiah from the YouTube clips, but
Cool. All right.
I'm also not organized enough to be really systematic about it like I should be, because that's how those people really do it well.
Okay. Do we have another product you want to put on?
No, I don't. You guys don't ever use fall arresters, right? Like you would never use a Petzl ASAP pretty much in a tree context, as far as I know. So just wanted to make sure we.
Jared?
Oh, like,
Okay,
Would
cool.
you, Jared? Would you ever? You
What's
can't. I can't think of any reason why you would ever use a like a Petzl ASAP or like a backup fall arrestor, mobile fall arrester.
yeah, storm work, maybe working on roofs, taking stuff off. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
mainly like that's, you know, we're trying to work on a roof, cut and tossing stuff off. Having a system in your way is kind of like a pain in the ass. You're
It
trying
is
to,
kind of annoying.
yeah, they got, so.
That's half of what they have in mind for roofers and landscapers who are on roofs and shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, for some companies, like something like this, I think the protocol working on any roof should have, you know, that would be ideal. But once again, we'd have to have a dorsal attachment.
Which is
We don't have to,
still
but
curious to me. Like, so does that come from the ASTM 877 or is that the ANSI Z133 that requires the dorsal for fall arrest?
I don't know that. I don't know the
Okay.
question now.
That's one I'm going to figure out. Because it's talking to some of the couple of guys who train IRATA and Sprat up in Canada. They were saying that they don't like to use the dorsal under any circumstance, really, unless you've got something that's out of your way that you just don't want in front of you, like when you're standing and you're working at a bench, but you're out high.
Right.
But the fact that you can't really self-rescue under a dorsal, or it's really, really difficult to, it lends itself to not being all that helpful.
Well, it's safer for the body, though.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, the impact.
Because of the head?
Because of the head,
Okay.
yeah. So, I mean, you take, 10-foot fall and land like this,
Right.
What was it? What was your title again for Edelred? Work safety
territory
manager.
Yeah. I guess that would. I mean.
either way is bad.
Yeah. Right.
I like to know the slip rating on that too.
I wonder if there is a slip rating for this. This is a cam. I mean, it just jams and jams and jams.
But, I mean, any cam has to be before failure. That's going to slip.
You want to just slip before failure?
Or slip or tear, but there's no teeth, right? So,
Right. So you think would probably slip before?
Well, what's the rating? The rating will tell you if it's anything under 22 kN, then there's a slip factor. It's probably like 14 kN.
Yeah, I don't think that's how they so it's got EN 353, EN 12841, and ANSI Z359. 310 pounds. 307 pounds. It's rated for 2 people, so you can rescue with it. 200 kilos. But yeah, slip factor.
So rescue with it. So if you put 100% of body weight on 2 body weights on that, it's not going to move at all.
Correct.
So rescue and on it, you would have to.
It's actually kind of nifty the way they can rescue. There's a couple of different ways, but
How do you cause the descent?
so when I don't have a rope here, but you when you mount you line a rope in there, whatever, and it's jammed up, right? One of the things you can do is obviously you shift it back into the unlock mode, and then you do your pick off of any kind, right? And when you actually, the best way to do it is you can set up a little 3-to-1 above it, pull the rope out as the tail, and as the rope gets pulled, as you tension that, this comes out and then locks out of the way, and then you can lower it.
Got it.
And it'll actually add some friction and make lowering a little more controlled and easier for that after that pick off maneuver. I've got a video of it being done, but
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that point, I mean, anything like that's going to be a basal. Well, I'm talking in our industry.
Yep.
It's all going to be basal. So,
right.
In your YouTube is what? Just tree strider?
Strider trees.
Strider trees.
Which e-paper device, e-ink device is that?
This?
Yeah.
It's called the Remarkable.
Oh, okay. I've seen ads for that.
They're awesome.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it is. But
Mine sucks.
you start keeping so many notes in here that if you don't have, like, I need to just spend like a whole day of reorganizing,
organizing.
deleting. I mean, and keep so much data here, and it connects to your phone. It connects to apps. Somebody else could have it. You can write notes to them. They can see it. They can look at it. It transcribes it. It does all sorts of stuff.
You gotta
And
pay for that service, though.
you can put down documents.
You gotta add all these things when you describe something. You're like, oh man.
Listen, I'm in my sales mode. All right? You don't have to be that guy on the street where I'm doing the card trick, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see how he did that. I'm trying to make money here. All right. Don't fuck my shit
It's
up.
like, oh man, I got this Porsche, man. The thing's so clean, cherry. It's like, and I love that thing. You're like, yeah, it's a 1952 with no wheels and no engine.
Hey, and they're like, sold 1952. That's good.
If the dorsal is obligatory, nobody ever used it. We aren't trained to rescue with it at school, too, huh?
Oh man, they're writing a bunch of stuff. They're writing
Interesting.
whole paragraphs on there.
Yeah, so this guy says I'm in Quebec, where is the dorsal is obligatory and nobody ever use it, and we aren't trained to rescue with it at school, too. Interesting.
Say that again. It's
Grammar's
it's
a little
not-
rough.
It's not
Saying that it is obligatory.
Obligatory,
Yeah, like you have to use it,
Okay.
but they don't use it. It's,
So
it's like required, but they don't know. what
This
it is.
this next episode we're gonna do. This is gonna be we do full length episodes. Hear your story, introducing yourself, talking about yourself. How you got in the industry. We can take different trails too. We may go on. We may get on some gear. I'm talking about Adelrid or Edelrid. I always mess it up.
The Germans, it's like exactly in between.
Adelrid.
Edelrid.
Edelrid.
It's
Edelrid,
any of it'll
Edelrid.
fly.
So I'm not wrong when I'm
I
like
can't
Edelrid,
pronounce it.
Adelrid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I generally say
Well, good.
Edelrid, but it's like Edelrid.
I
Edelrid.
don't want to be like the Cinnabolgan where they're like, how dare you pronounce Cinnabolgan wrong?
No.
But we go for about an hour on this one.
Okay.
So
Might hit the bathroom before we start.
yeah, no, you can go for it.
Yeah, real quick.
Jared usually goes in the
Chewing
beginning
someone's ear.
or in the middle.
Just leave you talking to yourself.
Huh? Yeah, no, that person. Yeah, they're all over that.
Real quiet.
This guy had a pretty cool story right here.
And I was just looking for work at this time wherever I could get it, just trying to start out, trying to make money. And I went out and met him, and he sees me on this Blake's,
He's good at speaking in front of cameras. Way better than you.
I know this, man. I'm not. I hate talking in front of cameras.
So YouTube, Strider Trees. Where you out of?
Currently Charlotte, North Carolina.
You live in Charlotte?
Yeah, just outside of Charlotte.
question.
Yeah. I'll be fast.
Next to me.
You guys need some more omega-3s?
Okay, I'm good. Looking forward to some in and out on the way home.
Yeah, me and Bob we went and on barbecue yesterday.
Oh, yeah, thanks for the invite, man. I appreciate that.
It was for his birthday. He invited me.
Oh, was your birthday?
Oh, you didn't wish him happy birthday? I took him out to his.
Is it really your birthday, Bob?
We went out
It
to,
was.
It
Oh,
was
happy
yesterday.
birthday, man.
yeah, we went out to dinner for his birthday. I thought you would know. He didn't even know. You're mad that we didn't invite you. We're mad that you didn't even wish him a happy birthday. That's what we're mad about right now.
Who's barbecue?
Let's
You
talk
say
about
we-
it.
you say we,
Yeah,
is
we're
it?
pissed about this. Let's talk.
Now I
about
feel
it.
like a dick. I came in
You
with your
should,
Christmas
absolutely. You're like,
present.
thanks for inviting me.
You're-
It's February. You got me my Christmas present in February. It's not Valentine's Day.
It's all the same after a while. I've got a philosophy with gifts, and it's if you come up with something that you know they're gonna like, you just get it and give it to them. And just say,
Just right away.
You just say Happy Birthday or Merry Christmas,
Like it's for
whatever
something.
it is. Yeah.
Just in case I miss it. I
Yeah.
like that. I
And
like
then
that
when it
philosophy.
comes time, it's like I
You're
hadn't
like-
seen anything in a long time.
Yeah, well, you remember I gave it to you like 4
Yeah.
months ago. You're like, yeah, I'm not gonna bust his balls.
Yep.
You fix that TV a little bit, push it over a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Which way?
This way. See if it pushes that way a little bit. Should push in a little bit more. It's kind of slide over. Yeah,
That feels very secure.
yeah, it's secure. Push in the bottom right there. See,
Oh, I see.
and then see if you can push it this way towards me. No.
Dude, you are tripping. Just leave
Okay,
it- leave
that's
it
good.
alone.
There's a little bit of light in the background, huh? Oh, there's like actually a light glowing back.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, it's intentional.
Yeah,
it's backlit.
yeah.
No, that's
What the heck? This is a window sitting. There's an outdoor window.
All right.
What's G Loomis?
It's a fishing brand.
Oh, I thought it was just making fun of that town, Loomis.
No.
Loomis
Where do you see the G Loomis?
on the back of your
Oh.
computer.
I'm like, oh, I don't have a shirt on. Yeah, fishing, our hobby that we never freaking do. Like, yeah, let's buy a badass boat, go fish once a year.
Oh, hobbies.
Well, it's been raining. We're gonna go. Plus, it's not the right time. We gotta get that 2 week little mark and go get the place up there and go spend a week up there and just work and fish every day like we did last year.
Gotta find a good work spot or good a lake that has good cell reception. Just be like,
Well, that doesn't have very good reception. It does all right.
Well, we went up last year. We Clear Lake. Bob went up and fished, and we brought a bunch of people up there and clients, and we had like seven bass boats every day that went out, and like we had people that were chartering the people and taking them out. And we just killed bass, and it was awesome. We came back and ate food and sat around the fire. It was cool.
good time.
It was
Good
great.
time.
And we bombed out too in the middle. Where did we go? Arborfest, and then we came back. It's like right in the middle. It's like we had to fly out somewhere for something and then
We
come
were
back.
tired. I was tired. Okay. All right. We ready for Strider Show?
One thing I envy about Blair, that guy has energy like you
I
wouldn't
know.
believe.
What does he eat?
He's got like
Not really
3%
sure.
body fat, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's skin, bones, wire, and caffeine, man.
Mhm. Yeah,
Something
yeah, he
else.
does. He goes hard.
He dragged me out on his little light casual run with his girlfriend who was sick, and my calves are still screaming at me.
Yeah, he's an animal.
He is. He's a beast. Let's see if we can see if he gets on. It's probably too late. Where does he live at? Oregon?
Oh, he's
Yeah,
fine.
Oregon.
Yeah, he should be.
He's
Come on,
up.
Blair. He's probably out to dinner.
My man.
Hey,
Hey guys.
We're calling for
What's
some
up?
words of wisdom for Josiah before he gets on the podcast.
Oh, right on. Oh man, this is exciting.
Yeah, we tried to tag you, but we can't even tag you in anything. I was trying to tag you.
dude, look at the new hairdo, man. I'm digging it.
He's
Man.
got one heck of a barber.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, we just did 2 small talks called Gear Talks about a couple of your products. So you can go on 2 Tree Guys and listen to them and see how well Josiah did.
Yeah.
Which he killed it. He killed it.
With some pointers later.
He nailed it. He nailed it.
Yeah, Jared, say hi to Kristen.
Hey, how are ya? All COVID free? Last time I seen him, we all got sick.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. All right, we're gonna jump on live here. So if you want to jump on and listen to some of it, we're gonna be on here in a minute.
I will, man. I will jump on. Thanks, guys.
All
Or
right.
don't.
Or
Don't
don't.
make me nervous.
All right, we'll see you, buddy. Thanks for answering.
Yeah, we went skiing together, brought my whole family up, and it was like, as soon as we were done, the next day, we all got COVID.
Oh,
Yeah,
how do you get COVID out skiing? I mean,
and it was weird. We were at the actual place, and I was like freezing cold, and I'm sitting inside. We're all done, kids are having lunch. I'm like, I'm really cold. I'm like, is it cold? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like, it's a little weird. We got back to the room that night, and I was like, no, I'm like shaking, bone chills. And just come to find out, she got it too.
oof.
Yeah. So
I've so far dodged COVID. I haven't even. My wife had it. The whole family had it. Haven't got it yet.
yeah, that wasn't bad. Knocked it out 2 days.
Oh, good.
Drove home from Oregon.
Didn't affect your smell or anything? Oh, good.
Just the chills. The chills were the worst.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty intense. But yeah.
I got it with Molly. My smell wasn't affected, but she stinks a little bit now.
Yeah. My wife, she lost her smell for 6 months. It's just nothing, and now it's coming back, but everything smells terrible all the time. Just complete chemicals and doo doo and everything else, just
Wow.
bad all the time.
Nice.
And then she got pregnant, and then it's got worse.
Yeah.
You know Keenan?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just texted me. See, you're hanging out with my boy. Taught him everything he knows. Okay.
It's true, Keenan. I was telling Jared that Keenan was the man on the ground yelling at me, "Oh yeah, you can go bigger," or "Oh yeah, just tilt that, just swing that sucker. It'll come around." Are you sure? Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
I like working with him.
Yeah.
There's guys you work with who just don't inspire confidence. You're just like, you've been doing this a long time, but something about it just still feels anxiety inducing having, so and so just working with them. It's like, I don't know what it is. They're just not that attentive or not that confident what they're doing, or some combination of the both, or too confident and not whatever it is.
Right.
But anytime I'm with him, even if things go bad, it's like, I'll be fine. It just inspires a lot of confidence.
Even when it goes bad, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is that guy.
How he manages the pressure of all the people he has under him around the fire line. I mean, that is some risky stuff that they're doing out there.
I mean, he's been doing it since he's been 18.
Right, but
That's
it's
all
not
he-
him. It's he's got dozens of followers out on his contract.
But I mean, like he's been doing it for a while where it's,
Yeah.
he's just living or gets so used to chaos and things going wrong and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Cause we were just on a project with him doing a bunch of work, and there was things that broke down, and he just handled it and kept moving.
Yep. Bring it in the shop. We'll weld it up. Bust it open.
Let's do it.
Just keeps rolling.
All right, here we go. Let's do this. Let me get on live.
He's a special character, that one.
All right, what's up, everybody? All right, we're going to be going live here in a few minutes. Let us, we're live right now, but let us let us connect with everybody else. Then we'll be going live on the podcast, not just on Instagram. There's Jared, accept.
We're recording, Phil, so you
Okay.
can start whenever you're ready.
Thank you, sir.
Got it muted up.
Muted it up.
All right.
Not
All right,
hearing any
everybody.
reverb this time. Third time's the charm.
Test. George's son. George's son.
George's son.
Georgian's son. George's son.
No N in there, but
Georgian.
yes, George's son.
All right, George's son. Georgian's son.
I think-
Georgian's son. George. He's
It's
son.
spelled like it's 2 syllables, but generally it's 3.
Oh, man. Okay, I got this. I got this. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, there's Timber Smith. What's up, boys? Boys. All right,
Man.
Keenan, we see you, man. All right, we're gonna get started here. I can't wait till Tanner takes all our outtakes and beforehand and just compiles them all together to a funny podcast show. Tanner's the guy who does all our filming for us.
Oh, nice. Put together like
Yeah.
post.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here with another episode of Two Tree Guys, coming to you live in the studio. We haven't been in the studio for a while to have a full-length episode today. We have a special guest that came to visit us all the way from North Carolina, right?
Yep.
What's up, Josiah?
Hey,
Josiah George's son. No N.
you know,
God damn it!
just
I
call
said
me
it.
the tree strider.
Damn
It's
it,
easier.
the tree strider. The YouTube man, Tree Strider here, and we're going to hear his story and talk a little bit about his company, Edelrid, and his position as Work Safety Territory Manager, and displaying some cool products with us today and doing some training. But before we jump into all that, I'll introduce the guy to the left of me,
Who refuses to show his face on the feed for some reason.
I keep hiding.
the wizard.
No, I got kicked off.
You got
so
kicked off?
Phil's like, I
Oh
don't need
man,
you on
here,
Just
redo it. The wizard, Jared Abracagina.
Oh my gosh. I don't know why you show
That's
up
a
on the same
great nickname.
Isn't it?
Uh-huh.
It's good. It's good. Are you
I've
coming
gotten
back on?
Abracadabra. I've gotten it all.
Are you coming back on?
Oh man, it's not letting me.
Let me see. All right, we're gonna get him back on here. Come on back on. If not, I'd hate to end this whole thing and stuff.
I know you like doing those intros though, so
Yeah, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it all the time. Sometimes I forget what I'm gonna say, but every time I try to introduce him a little bit different because he likes it. He always tells me before the show, "Hey, try a new
Oh my
technique
God,
with me."
please don't do this.
How'd the training go with him today?
oh, it was so fun. No,
Yeah.
it's great. I felt very what's the word? I felt like I got the one-on-one exclusive with Jared.
Yeah.
You know, normally,
You did.
I'm
because
in the
I don't
audience.
do that.
right?
Yeah.
We didn't even know if he was going to be here today, and he. I
it
thought
happen for
yeah,
us.
yeah. I mean, he heard you were coming. He's like, my ass is coming in. I'm coming in to hear from
I know
you.
he's pretending like he wasn't down for it, but he was just stoked to get out of the office. I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was so nice today, man. Having
That was
weeks and
gorgeous.
weeks of rain, just being able to get some sunshine out there. It was like, oh, this feels so good to get out of the office.
Well, you've been in. Yeah, we haven't had any sun. I mean, last 3 weeks there's been no sunshine, and now we had beautiful day today. You got out of the little Prius traveling around, previewing a bunch of work out there in the pouring rain. Almost died 100 times, but
Yeah,
you made it.
it's good.
You did it. Yeah, created a new program, new app that we're going to be launching here soon. No, we were joking because we have different tech, and he got in, just Google Sheets, and he was like, "Okay, I'm going to organize all this." Started taking pictures and pins and putting all this together. I'm like, "You just developed like maybe a new app that we're going to start doing here." I'm like, we have stuff for this." He's like, "I didn't have time to learn all that other stuff." So,
Yeah.
but he did it. He finished it.
You got your system. You got to rock it. You just
Yeah.
got to go with what you know.
Sometimes you got to be reactive, and just get into it and figure it out.
Yeah. Get your hands dirty. So what were some of the things you guys went over today?
Let's see. So we started out with trying to break down the idea of vectors, like vectors and torque and forces in a way that is reasonably accurate scientifically while also accessible for someone who's never had physics. And it was more challenging than I thought it would be.
Did you get through it?
Yeah, we got
got
some
it?
good stuff.
Okay,
I
good.
think that'll be a good video for the nerdier climber, or at least maybe the young kid who's coming right out of high school,
Yeah.
who's got that stuff fresh in his mind, like wants to figure out how to climb safely. They'll like it.
Yeah, so I wasn't a part of that, by the way. That's way outside of my
I
league.
told him, I said, "Mate, go get Jared. I'm sure he has something to add to this."
I didn't realize you were framing him there. So.
I was testing him. But hey, man, welcome to the ranch. Welcome to the academy and
Thank
to
you.
the studio.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
And I'm sure you've done 100 podcasts before, right?
No, I've done a handful, but mostly on my own. I actually have a podcast. I
Oh,
haven't
you
done
do?
one in a long time, and it's super nerdy and not at all related to trees whatsoever.
What is it?
It's called Truth and Fiction, and I actually use literature, like both popular literature, like Moby Dick and things everyone would read in high school, and then popular movies that are relevant and current, like Pirates of the Caribbean. And I sat across from my old high school English teacher, and we basically tried to extract useful life advice out of these stories, because everyone listens to a story or watches something, and if they like it, there's usually something that they really engage with the protagonist, and a lot of times there's something they're particularly repulsed by with the antagonist. And so if we kind of follow that intuition, we can get a sense of like, how should I live? Because I need to live more like this thing I admire, and I need to stay away from this thing I despise. And so we kind of like just look at fiction and bring out some useful life stuff out of it.
Awesome, man.
The
I
heck?
got to listen to this.
I mean, it's super nerdy, but it was a lot of fun.
It's called Truth and Fiction.
Truth and Fiction, yeah, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
And you would do them with your English teacher from high school.
Are you
every
still
time?
doing it?
I haven't done one in weeks, not every time. So I've got a few other guests. I did one with my little sister, who is an English major, and I did one with a friend of mine, Les Miserables, and it's always fun, always really good.
How many episodes do you have?
14 or 15 or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, an hour and a half ish each, and I really enjoyed it. So it's something I want to keep doing. I just now
Do you get anybody sending a message or contacting you about
nobody
it?
sees it.
Nobody
one's ever
sees
seen it.
Nobody sees it.
Most of the views are mine.
Can everybody get on there? If you listen to this, go to Truth and Fiction on podcast, listen to an episode, give it a 5-star rating, and make a comment. Okay,
That would be awesome. That
All
would be
right,
so cool.
Let's
yeah.
get this thing popular.
I mean, it's not the kind of thing my YouTube audience I would expect would like, but hey, you never know.
Do you have it recorded, like to watch?
I don't have
or-
any video.
Okay.
No, that was
Yeah.
the next thing. Because YouTube, it's more people watch podcasts through YouTube than through podcast apps, surprisingly enough. But
Yeah, they do.
yeah, it's weird. But I always only ever did the audio.
Why is that, you think?
I think YouTube, just everyone has it. And if you have premium, then you can play it in the background and have it on your phone without it being showing. So it's just what they get used to, just habit.
Gotcha.
Also, the searching mechanism with Apple Podcasts are terrible. Like, it's impossible to find something that's not just whatever the best thing is at the category. It's for whatever reason, things aren't archived well.
Mm.
Well, that's
Pretty-
my guess.
pretty
Well,
wild.
I didn't know you had a podcast. That's
Yeah,
cool,
right?
man. That's cool. So no wonder you're so good at this. I mean, we started the gear talk with you earlier today, and you got on and you just took over the show and just ran it. And I was like, this is nice.
Felt the
Usually,
pressure, had the
man,
expectations.
you just
and-
came like full force, delivered. And you guys gotta check that out. I don't know when it's gonna come out, when you guys are listening to this, but Gear Talk, we got to go over a couple cool products that Josiah went over, and check them out.
Yeah.
Like those two, share them. 5-star rating, comments.
I'm a super gear nerd, so I've been enjoying listening to your guys' gear talk.
We just started yesterday.
Right. Was
it Saturday?
Was that
Saturday.
the first one, the Petzl one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I got on. I was like, oh, this is good. Like this is
Oh,
this
good.
is some background on things that I played with, I'm familiar with, but Jared's got such a depth of knowledge on this stuff.
Oh, I
It was
know.
really insightful.
I know.
Good, man.
enjoyed it.
I was questioning it myself as we were talking about it. I'm like,
You've questioned
Do
this
people-
damn podcast, let alone.
I'm that guy. I'm just not that guy. So I'm like, I do question it. I'm like, people listen to this, but then it came to life for me when, I said this before. My dad was up at this little cafe up in Oregon, middle of nowhere. Some guy came up to him and, asked if he's a tree guy, because he was talking about trees. And the guy goes, yeah. And so they were chatting. My dad gave his name, and he's like, Aborigine. is your son one of the 2 tree guys? And
That's
I was
awesome.
like, yeah. And he called and told me. I'm like,
Yeah.
no freaking
In
way.
the middle of
Right?
Nevada.
There you
Oh,
go.
man.
And he had a
Yeah, I
story.
was, and the funny thing is, we have new people in the studio, and I think we tell the same story every time to them. Oh, we haven't told you the story, but the listeners are like, they're telling that same damn story again.
What you got to do
I
is
don't-
change like a subtle detail every time, so
Well,
the story just evolves over
yeah,
time.
I know. I'm like, and there I was. I had purple pants on this time. No, but we did a podcast here with the Arbor Group down in SoCal, and they were sitting here, and we were like, all right, let's go out to eat afterwards. So we went down the street, went out to eat, and they were all excited. Had a podcast. It was cool. It was fun, and we were hanging out. And then this girl walks over to me, and she's like, "Hey, you're on the Two Tree Guy podcast show, aren't you?" And I'm like,
How
What?
do you
"Who
know?
are you?" I'm like, "This has never happened to me before."
Yeah,
She
right.
was
You
like-
were like, well, yes, I
And,
am.
no, and these 2 guys,
Was it the smooth voice?
they're looking at it and they're just like, "You guys are famous." And it kind of, I was like, but
I'm
she-
convinced that is why everyone, like anyone who does content, that's why. It's just for that moment.
It was a moment. It was
I
felt
like your
cool.
stuff.
I felt cool for about that. Yeah. And I'm like, "How do you listen to it all the time?" She's like, "Yeah, I do. But I came to the academy and went to," I'm like, "Oh, okay." It wasn't because we're famous, because you came through the academy and
Right.
associated us. But yeah.
Darn, you're known more for your high quality
Well,
education than your.
Speaking of that, the first time you came here to the academy and went through course,
Yeah.
right?
The first time I was, I did the EHAB actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
And-
that's my guy.
and somebody, I don't know who came up to me and was like, "Hey, that's Trey Strider right there, YouTube famous." I'm like, "What?" And I looked up, I was like, "Oh, shit, he has a lot of followers on YouTube. Dang,
Been doing that thing for a minute,
man.
man.
How long you been doing that?
What is it, 3 or 4 years now, almost. I think. Yep.
How many videos do you have up?"
Probably about 100. No, not even 100. Probably 60 or 70. But it was one of those things. Like most people who do YouTube, the formula is just put a bunch of videos out, and eventually you get good. And over time, the algorithm will kind of pick you up. Build slowly and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
And that's what you did.
No, I was like,
No.
I don't have the patience for that. I hate failing. It's got to be good from like number one. And so I got my brother, who's the graphic guy. He's got the aesthetics. He's artistic. I'm autistic. He's artistic.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we got to make this look good from the start.
Yeah.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the gear I like. We're gonna talk about tips and tricks. And tree guys will like it because there's no good info on the internet.
Yeah.
And that was what we did. We just made it look professional. Totally faked it till we made it, and here we are.
So what video has the biggest or the most views?
I'm pretty sure it's still one that I did shortly after the Akimbo was released, the official one, where
Yeah.
I did like Akimbo versus Rope Runner, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the one that has done the best out of all of them. It's a classic Pareto distribution where the top 20% pretty much gets all the views, and the bottom 80 are very, very low
Gotcha.
viewing percentage. Which is,
Now, let me ask you a question on YouTube stuff, and this is for Bob. For you, we got a YouTube expert here, Bob. I said, Bob, he made all these simple, not simple, but not videos, just how to tie a knot. And I said, let's post some of that on the academy, like how to tie a bowline, how to tie XYZ.
Yep.
Because I get on there and I'm like, 2 million views for this simple video.
Yep.
I mean, does that stuff work?
I mean, my knot video is probably in the top 5 most weeks now, as far as like most views on average.
Yeah.
So like if I hadn't released anything new, then that's up there. So yes, super simple tutorials like that.
Quick, simple.
But it's all about, and almost anyone who's ever given me feedback has said this. What they love is that I just talked very specifically about the one thing that's in the title, and that's it. Like
Gotcha.
I jump in.
You didn't get off course.
Yeah.
And Bob, we were talking last night over dinner. We're like, I mean, everything I learn is from YouTube. Like if it's a simple, how do I dismantle this vacuum cleaner to fix it because something's wrong with it? I go in, I type in the model, how to dismantle this vacuum cleaner. and I get 80 videos that come up, and that's how I learn from it.
Right. And if you're lucky, 3 of them are good and they're close to the top.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, but that's my generation right now too, and younger. All of them. Like YouTube is the source for information, and there's a skill to sorting it, but that's where the good information is. And
Yeah.
it's amazing that people can put out such high quality stuff for free, and I'm glad for it. I think the world's better for it. But
Yeah. But
it's
but you get paid for it, right?
yeah.
What do you get?
I get just enough to pay Josiah to make the videos after I record them. And that's about it. It breaks even.
Gotcha.
Adelrid sponsored the last couple, so they've been paying Josiah
Okay, cool.
just the production costs, and so I'll pocket a little bit on these
Yeah.
when they get done. But I mean, it's not worth the time it goes into it yet. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
someday.
It's gonna catch on. I'm gonna
Yeah,
share some
After
of
this show.
Yeah, this
Right.
is it.
This is the big break.
No,
right?
no, it's
The two tree
it's
guys.
truth and fiction's gonna be the one. It's not gonna be the YouTube channel.
Honestly, I would rather do truth and fiction. It's so fun. I'm such a nerd. I love
Can you
literature.
come back and we do one here?
You want to
Yes.
do truth and fiction?
Pick your favorite, either favorite movie or favorite book.
I'm watching Rocky, the Rocky series.
Okay.
Oh,
Never
gosh.
seen it.
Bob, shut his fucking mouth up. Oh my gosh. You were
Okay,
waiting
well,
all day for that.
All
All day you're waiting for that shit. Oh gosh. Everybody, please go to his Instagram, DM him, say some mean stuff to him, or defriend him so he gets below 3,000. He'll be really upset.
Or don't. He won't see it anyway. He's never on there.
Yeah.
Get on for this.
Right.
That's funny. Well, let's dive in and talk about you getting into the industry. You know, how did this all begin? This whole, working for Edelrid, however the Germans pronounce it.
I can't pronounce it how they do either.
Having a successful YouTube channel, editing videos. I mean, all the stuff you do. I mean, how did this all begin? This journey?
I was going to school for biomedical engineering, and I was like, I hate this because they just like I couldn't get past the basic level stuff where they just kind of keep reteaching you the same stuff you were supposed to have learned in high school. I was like, stop, teach me something new. And so it just drove me mad. And so I ended up thinking, okay, well, how can I make money in California and make a living and not have a degree, because I don't want to do that. And kind of ended up stumbling across tree work almost accidentally. I got some summer job for some guy out in the sticks who mom probably shouldn't have let me go work for. But I had a little chainsaw. And he gave
Is there
me
anything you
one.
want to talk about?
Yeah. He was a great guy by all lucky
Okay,
happenstance. He was
good.
fantastic. Still friends.
Good.
But I worked for him for like $15 an hour all summer long, clearing his lot. The kind of job that when I was running with my 2-man crew, we could have done in a day. I spent all summer doing by myself.
Holy shit.
And it was like, just, you don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Pulling things over and bucking them up and dulling the blade and all that good stuff. But it's like, this is all right. It's kind of fun and whatever. And then I had a buddy who's, runs a great tree service up in Grass Valley, First Impressions, a close friend of Keenan's. He was kind of getting more into trees from his landscape because he has a lot of good tree connections.
Yeah.
So I went and worked with him, ground eat a little bit, and very quickly saw the climber. And I just thought I would rather be doing that. And it looked terrifying because the guy was really old school. Flip line, Blake's hitch, no climb line when he's going up the trees, wrecking out these 150-foot pines. Sometimes he'd have a rope, sometimes he wouldn't. But he was wild. But he had been doing it a long time, and he was really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought, I was like, that looks terrifying. That can't possibly be the right way to do it. But I would rather be the pitcher than the guy in the outfield. Like that was just. It looked like way more fun.
What your family think about this if you getting in the tree care industry?
Mom wasn't stoked I wasn't going to college, but
how'd you break the news to her that you're like, all right, I'm done with this, Mom?
it just was one of those things that just slowly happened. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this side job. I've been self-employed almost since high school. Like I always did side jobs. I fixed people's cars. I did some computer stuff. It's like whatever I could find, I just made money because it was better than working for somebody. And then and that's kind of. I don't think she ever really even knew when it happened.
Yeah.
And she definitely didn't. I mean, I enjoyed watching her watch the videos, but she's afraid of heights, so she really was not about it. But she's not really a worry.
You're born in California?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, born and mostly grown up in California.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Sierra Nevadas. big pondos, big Doug firs, big spready oaks. Good fun.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so that was it just happened slowly, and eventually I wasn't as scared to down low as when I started, and the stress kind of got less and less. And like Jared was saying earlier, the problems changed to ones that were more tolerable than when they were at the beginning. I never thought I would stick with it. I thought, oh, that I can't do this. I can't do this. And then eventually you just kind of get good, and it's not so bad. And then the
But why
problems
do you
don't seem
think
so
you can't do
scary.
this?
Oh, I'm scared of heights.
Oh.
So like at first get up 30 feet, it was get sweaty and clammy, and you don't like want to freeze up. So you just got to think about the next thing and you kind of figure out how to cope. But then it was 40 feet and it was 50 feet. And then there just aren't that many trees more than 50 feet. So only once a week or once every couple of weeks are you really in that scared zone. And then I don't know what it was. It just kind of got habituated to it. And then of course the confidence of doing it and being around solid people like Keenan, just really inspiring. They inspire a lot of confidence. Like, you're doing the right thing. You're not going to fall. The ropes are fine. Just keep going. It's like, okay. You just keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just shortly after I started doing the groundwork, I bought gear and I just dumped 60% of everything I made back into gear, and figured I could
Who
learn
was
when
giving
I
you
tried.
that direction on gear?
I just
And what gear was it at the
the,
time?
the first saddle I bought was a Cheryl Edge, which is
Okay.
like the what's that? Yeah, it became something else. It was modeled after Ergovation, basically. I didn't use that very long. I met you for the first time at Arborfest West, like in 2014, I think.
I'm sorry you had to go through me in that phase of my life.
I remember listening to Jared thinking, this guy's one of the best teachers I've ever seen. And I'm a teacher. Like, teaching I'm compulsive about it. And that's why the YouTube mostly. But I was like, I really admire that. Not very often you get in front of someone and think, wow, they're actually teaching this really well as a teacher. It's remarkable.
Well, thank you.
And you showed me your little cut trick on the stump, and I thought, oh, that's gold. That
The
is
one
gold.
I built,
Yeah.
I just broke it apart. But yeah, I kept that from then.
Oh, the redwood?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I broke it apart and got rid of it.
Was that in 2014?
14 or 15. I mean, it was a while back.
7 years ago? That's when that was the one here, right?
It had to have been that one.
It's
I
like,
mean,
I
that's
think
the
one
only
of the
time
first
I brought-
Arborfest West, I think.
Yeah, I brought that log and I put it at the Edelwood booth.
Okay.
Damn, time flies.
It sure does.
Man, 7 years ago. Shit.
Yeah. And then I just was like, oh, I'm going to buy everything. I'm going to try it all, see what works, see what's comfortable, what isn't. And everyone argued about everything. So it was like, I don't know if it's good or not. I got to just try it. There was just such complete lack of consensus about all of the devices. It was surprising.
So what'd you land on?
I'd use them all.
Use them.
But I came around to is I will always have one rope with a zigzag on it, because if I just want to feel comfortable, I'll run the zigzag. It always works.
Yeah.
And usually whatever rope ends up getting sap ends up getting the zigzag, because the zigzag just tolerates sap like none of the other ones do.
Mm.
I never really liked using the hitch cord. Didn't use it for very long. Kind of was like, this is annoying. But I will always also have a clean rope with the akimbo. And so if I'm in an oak or if I'm doing a crane job or whatever, it's akimbo and clean rope.
Gotcha.
And then the unisender lives on the rescue harness. So that one's like permanent. I've got a permanent or semi-permanent swivel on our rescue harness, because anyone can do that. Anyone can get it on, and they can go up a rope, and it's just going to be there.
Gotcha.
They'll just die coming down on it.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, you do the wrap, and it's not so bad, but it's unnerving. Yeah. I can't believe they never came out with the second one. I saw that at.
Yeah.
Oh. I know, I'm so fidgety. Sorry.
I'm like, can we get one of the fidget wheels for him?
Something quiet. Yeah.
You guys been hearing the little clinking sound for the last. It wasn't Jared drinking ice. It was, not drinking ice. Drinking his. Before you pull this up, like. And then I listened to the podcast, like, a month later, and I'm like, the whole podcast is clink, 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 clink.
And then I get a text.
And then he talks.
I want to punch you in the face.
The whole podcast. If you guys can find it, you guys will know. You guys are gonna want to punch him in the
Which
face.
one?
Too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bad.
So you started buying some gear, figuring
Everything.
out
Just bought everything.
everything,
Yeah.
trying out everything.
Yeah.
Have you always been that type of guy? Like someone to spend that much money, I mean, you dove all in
Well,
on this.
yes and no. So I'm a generalist. I have to everything I've done well is because I can integrate totally disparate bodies of knowledge and come up with some new insight into it, and it's fun. I did what I realized pretty early on when you look at the math of let's just say we'll call it productivity in the tree, right? So if I can be 2% more productive on a day's work, day after day after day after day, that's a compounding improvement, right? So if I move from a saddle that I can sit in comfortably for 6 hours to one I can sit in comfortably for 6.5 hours, I'm buying another half hour of comfortable, safe work every day. That's $50 to $100 every day that I'm making back because I'm using saddle B instead of saddle A. Same thing with gear. It's like, especially with the stuff that I interact with physically on my body, if it means that I perform more efficiently in some manner by a percentage, it's always worth the expense. Like there was no time where I was like, if I just flat didn't like it, then it was a learning experience. It was cheap schooling, but if I used it and I liked it, like I've upgraded saddles a number of times, and I will always find the most comfortable saddle and wear it because it's just, that's against my skin, interacting with me all day, every day. And it's just worth whatever the expense is. It doesn't even really matter when it comes down to it at the end of the day.
Have you read the book? I want to say it comes from this book, Atomic Habits.
I have read
the beginning part that talks about the bicyclist team, England, and how they were the worst team where people didn't even want to sell bikes to them to use, right?
Just bad press.
Just terrible.
To your team.
But they got a new coach, and I'm not telling the story right, so bear with me that if it sucks, it's not accurate, but read it. But they made a 1% change every, little bit of this, the different tires. They wore different type of underwear, the seats, how they exercise, and they just kept making all these tweaks like that, trying, and all of a sudden they became the best in the world, just by little changes that they made.
Small micro improvements are there's no limit to how
they compound.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole Toyota philosophy is one model to the next, their goal is to be 2% better. And now we have the most reliable, most functional cars in existence. I mean,
the Tesla.
No. I mean, yes, I have one. I love them. But
it makes me think of when I was breaking down foot locking as a kid. And I'm like, how do I compete against somebody that's taller, somebody that's has longer arms, somebody that's lighter than me, or more muscular, stronger, and it's like you got to videotape and really break down their movements and their motions. I'm like, okay, well he lacks flexibility here, he's too much motion here, not enough reach there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get better at those three things, and then I'll see if I can beat that time. And everything that I did was kind of along those measures.
Yep. Yeah.
And it worked.
Anytime you can, it's hard to quantify a subjective experience, but when you go from having bruises on your hips every day at the end of the day to not, that means something, like you don't make as good decisions when you hurt. So if you can hurt less, then that's good.
Yeah.
When your life depends on the decision you're making in that stressful moment, you just get comfortable, get smart, like you want that optimized as much as possible.
I think it's one thing that I focus on a lot now that I never did, early in my career, or even taught or really brought up, but work positioning. I think it's like probably the top thing that I focus on and I talk about all the time, because most incidences occur from poor work positioning.
Right.
And it comes down to gear, the options, being uncomfortable, all these things. So
yep.
Yeah,
you're just less likely to rush a cut when you're comfortable. Like, think through this. You'll take the time to cut the vines away from the wood that you're looking at. How many accidents you hear a guy slipping out, grabbing their saw, grabbing something, and all of a sudden they've cut themselves all up.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So so that was kind of the original impetus of the gear hoarding.
You still like that? You buy everything that comes out?
More or less. Or I try to get them to give it to me first now because they should, frankly.
Yeah.
But but yeah, if it's new, it looks interesting, then I want it. I want to try it out.
So what are your favorite brands before, kind of getting into it and you started buying a lot of gear? Were you kind of swayed by people in the industry or listening to YouTube of, what the best brand was out there?
This is a character flaw, but I don't tend to take seriously what most anyone else says. Like again, it's a character flaw, but I will generally assume that someone else's judgment is not going to be as good as mine.
So everything you taught us today was shit, is what he's trying to tell you. In a
I got
nice
a
way.
character flaw,
Yeah.
yes.
Hey, you know all the stuff you were teaching out there on the video? Yeah, that was
I
shit.
thought there was a fly by your ear. You shaking your head like this. I just thought something was bothering you.
You're like, oh, fuck.
This
This guy. Oh, man.
It's so rare that I come across someone who actually really knows what they're talking about. And so honestly, the first influential moment was that first ArborFest, because you presented. There was a guy from Australia who presented the ART devices.
Joe.
Was it Joe?
I missed that guy. Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Such a good presentation. He went through. He was the one who broke down in that very brief presentation. Concise. Okay, here's Blake's hitch. Here's how that works. Here's a better system with the pulley and the hitch cord. And you improve it, but not much. And then you go to the single line, and then he demonstrated the Spider Jack 3, which hadn't quite come out yet, on the pulley saver. And I thought, oh man, this guy obviously knows his stuff. And every step of the way was so clearly explained. And so I think that was when I bought the ART at the time. But so seeing a handful of people who were really good, and okay, that's obviously good. Lawrence Schultz, I think, was at that one or the next one. Again, so
Is it the next one? Yeah.
when I've latched on to guys who are really good, I'll look at what they're doing and pay attention. August is another guy, super practical. He did a demo. I think he did one of the aerial demos in the big tree.
Yep.
He might have done the crane demo on that one.
He did the felling, the first one.
Oh, okay, the felling. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
he did
he's the
some
one who
rigging
showed
and
me the
felling.
Cenas. That was a game changer when you realize, okay, we can have good communication.
Yeah.
And so I went through I had the Cena 10s, I had the Cena 20Ss. I threw those away. I got the Cardos, Pack Talk Bold. Now I've got the Picardo Pack Talk Slims. That's one of those things where if it means it's like a percentage improvement all day long, every day. So it's just worth it. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
What do you do with all your old gear? Are you selling it or are you just collecting it?
It sits in my house.
Oh my
I gave away the Cenas to some motorcycle friends of mine because they use them when they ride.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it all gets. I mean, most of it's worn out because I use it. I'll find a niche that it's worth having.
Yeah.
And I'll use it. And now it's. Yeah.
So we had a thought. We were talking about this, Bob, Phil, and I. If this is something that would even be applicable, and you tell me, or maybe some of the people listening, thought about putting on something like this on ATO, of kind of having a trading site. For gear and being able to have a place that people can come and
A marketplace.
Marketplace, yeah. And you can trade gear, borrow gear, sell gear. Yeah, it's probably not the best thing to do, if you don't know where people's gear have been. But I see some not antique stuff, but some old stuff that if I seen it, I'd buy it. Like my old Saka, or it got stolen, or
Right.
Is there anywhere out there right now that you can put all your tree gear on there or things you're selling?
There's a lot of marketplace tree climber groups, and that
Yeah.
stuff gets snapped up quick. It doesn't
Yeah.
last. There's guys who want it,
Yeah.
but on principle of not wanting to sell used gear, and I know I'm pretty hard on stuff. I try not to. I've given a few things away. The Edge saddle I gave away, and but that would be, people would love it. They would absolutely love the marketplace, but it is a risk.
it is a risk. Yeah.
Working for a company now that does work safety gear, that's one of those rules that you just no use gear.
Well, same thing at the
Yeah,
academy.
yeah,
We know
makes
we
sense.
promote safety and inspection and all that, and it's
Well, and the reasonable inspector, the good, competent guy working with it, will know when it's not good. But a little hard to tell online, and then you get it.
you don't know what the gear's been through. I mean, I
Yeah.
could have pulled the truck out of the mud with that carabiner, and,
Right.
look exactly the same.
Yep, especially if you put soft shackles or something on it, you would never know.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. So pros and cons.
let's do it.
Fucking do it. Oh man.
Just do it. Yeah.
So after learning everything from Jared from ArborFest and buying a bunch of gear, what was kind of your next step in your career where you really started kind of elevating yourself?
Let's see. So those conferences were pretty pivotal, and I knew I had turned the corner when I finally went to a TCI out in Pittsburgh a few years back. It was probably 2018, 19, and didn't learn anything from the climbing demos for once. I was like, wow, maybe I've got it mostly figured, at least that side of things. And so that was a big confidence booster. I think that was about when I started the channel, was right around there. But
Pretty sweet.
And what made you want to start this channel?
Compulsive teacher.
Yeah.
People I end up trying to teach people whether or not they want it. And so I just had a little bit of an outlet. So it's
I know. I feel your pain. I do this at home with everybody. And my parents hate me for it. My brothers hate me. My kids, they're just like, Dad, you're not at work. You don't have to teach.
I also hate you. I also hate you.
For different reasons.
Yeah. I also hate you. I know he's always trying to teach me stuff.
Well, so compulsive teaching outlet, and then also I just knew that I didn't want to do tree work forever because the tree, like, fear of heights thing never went away. And I knew that no matter how safe I was, I've had enough close calls, caused enough close calls that sooner or later, someone I really love, who's my crew man, is going to get hurt on my job. And whether it's my fault or not, it's my job. And I'm going to feel so bad about that. And if someone actually got killed on my job, or if I got injured in such a way that I can't be the dad and live the life, the physical outdoor life I want to, that's just it's an outcome I was unwilling to even chance, really.
So you started taking some different paths or different approach?
Yeah, I started sowing some seeds. I just hey, well, let's start some things and see where they go to eventually get out of the active day-to-day stuff sooner than later.
And what were some of those seeds?
Well, first it was going deeper. So I started an actual company. So I bought the chipper and I hired a couple guys and I trained them, and we went hard. Loved it. So fun. The guys were mainly because the guys are rad. I hired my cousin. He's like 19 years old. He was graduating high school. He didn't really want to go to college. He's kind of like me in that he's just spacey and likes to learn about everything and is really curious and is always trying to optimize just for fun. And I'm like, well, come work with me. You'll learn a new skill and it'll be interesting for a while and you'll be good at it eventually. You can run my ditch witch. And then the other guy was a friend of a friend, and he's like a go-getter climber, but he's just such a positive person. He's always happy, always down. Those two poor saps. I can't believe I did this. My house, and we got our house, and the attic was just nasty because they had a bad rat problem at some point. Yeah. And those two guys went through and helped me gut all of the insulation out of my attic and replace it all over the course of like 3 long rainy days. And it was just the most miserable, grimy, nasty, smelly work in bodysuits and masks.
The best thing was a rainy day. You do that in 105?
Oh, right.
You're like, I'm out.
No, not going to happen.
I
knew better than that. I was going to suffer with them. But. So anyway, they were fantastic. And then getting to actually have the whole crew and develop some systems and learn more of the management, apply some of the things I had in mind, some of the criticisms I had towards other managers and other jobs I'd done, and like, okay, here's what I would do differently. Actually getting to work that out was really satisfying. And we made a lot of money.
That was Strider Tree?
Yeah.
Was the company?
Strider Trees. Yeah.
Strider Trees. So what happened to the company?
I sold off the equipment, and that young guy, my cousin, he bought the ditch witch. One of my contract climbing, or one of the buddies I contract climbs for, bought the chipper and sold the trucks. And when I moved,
now why'd you get out?
Basically what I was saying, but actually because I got hired on with Edelrid. So it all kind of happened at the same time. My wife's father, or my father-in-law, my wife's dad, passed away a couple years back, and my mother-in-law moved out to the East Coast to try and just get away from all the memories and start over and get healthy that way. And so my wife really wanted to move out there to join her. They're really close. We had my father-in-law passed 2 weeks before my daughter was born. So it was like all this life stuff happened at once. Like, wow. We bought a house. They moved in with us. He passed. We had our baby, like all within 8 months. Like it was so fast. And so it was just so much was happening. And I was like, okay, well, here's a transition time. I get out, use the time to get out. We'll go someplace, live a little cheaper, start a job with a company, that seems great. It's kind of up my alley. It's very different, but it's more salesy, more management. And maybe it'll be great. Maybe this will be the chance to get out and just switch everything up and start over. And so that was kind of the impetus of actually quitting the crew.
So did you reach out to them or they reach out to you?
It was kind of both. So I've been interacting with them for a couple of years because Blair sent me one of the Tree Wreck saddles, and it had become my favorite, like of all the ones I've used. And so I ran into him again at the event. What was it? That event in not Vacaville, the one that we went to last year, I think. Last year in the springtime. Not Treopalooza.
Treetopia?
Yeah, Treetopia.
Okay, here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locally. And so I ran into him again there. We just got to talking, and they were trying to find someone to basically who knows work safety, because everyone involved with 808 is from the rock climbing, like sport climbing world. So none of them really know industrial climbing at all. And I was like, oh, I might be looking for a job, and I'm trying to get out of the trees. So hit me up. Well, just tell me what it's about. And it just kind of worked.
Yeah.
And so that's.
You joined a great team. I mean, I love Blair and the team over there, and it makes some great stuff. I mean, I love their harness too. So.
I mean, he was here our first opening of the academy for the 5-day boot camp we had. He came and supported us, and he's on our video. So if you watch,
that's awesome.
He's the only vendor partner that's on the video. But he came out here and supported us, and yeah, he's been such a good dude, man.
He is, and he's all about it. Like he's just so much energy, but he really is fully bought into just the company as a whole, and he runs it really well. He's a great manager.
Yeah.
I mean, he really knows.
I've seen him angry a
people
couple
well.
times.
Yep.
Or one time. You just don't show up late at a TCI expo for that day. He will murder you. I think it was a couple years ago or something. He's like, I'm going to kill these guys. Where are they?
He's got some deep, like professional roots. Like he's got one, he's done the corporate thing a long time. He like knows what's acceptable. Yeah.
Well, we gotta get him in for one too. One of these days.
Oh man, I would love it.
Dude, if you want to learn some sales, man, that guy, he knows. Somehow his emails come through and sound cheerful. Yeah. I have no idea how to do that. Like I've never read an email that sounds so like pleasant, even when it's bringing bad news. Than what
I think it's the type of person Blair is, though, because when you're reading it, you're thinking of him. You're thinking of his presence, right?
Yeah,
and then you kind of have that feel inside of you when you're reading it.
But you don't read his emails. I have to respond to him.
Under the bus.
I'm like, Jared, hey, I just want to let you know, Blair was really happy in his email today. That's funny. That's funny. So, great team. So born and raised out here. I mean, moving to the East Coast, you never lived out there before, right?
No, I never lived. I spent a couple months. Well, I've lived sort of out there over the course of a couple months, doing a couple other jobs that I had done. I did an internship out in Missouri for 6 months, and I did a traveling show based out of Pittsburgh for a couple months one time.
Gotcha.
And so I've been around, seen a lot of it, but never lived long term.
Traveling show, like what was that mean?
Oh man,
you part of the circus?
It was bad. It was worse.
What? You're part of the circus?
Oh no, it was a religious circus. It was a group called the Silver Ring Thing. Oh man,
Silver Ring.
Don't look it up.
We got to pull this out.
This is embarrassing.
You were part of a cult?
No, that was the internship in Missouri, but we won't talk about that.
What's the Silver Ring thing?
It's a group that they do this like really elaborate like production, this show that is like it's very entertaining, but it's about encouraging abstinence actually, and it's just as Christian ministry.
It's drinking abstinence.
No, sexual abstinence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Trying to just.
All right, we're pulling it up here.
Oh man,
let's see what this is all about here.
Tell you what though, those guys.
Silver Ring thing.
So for how long?
Silver Ring
was it? 6
thing.
months.
It was generally a 6-month deal. I only ended up doing it for 3 or 4, and I just couldn't tolerate after that. But
So what was your job with it all? What would you have to do?
I was so everyone kind of did a little bit of everything because there's basically 8 of us in a van, and we would pull up with a semi, set up this whole production in a theater, lights, video, audio, everything, and then we would perform either that night or like the next day, and then we'd pack it up and go to another place. Like it was boom,
Wow.
tight schedule, tight shows, about a 2-hour show or thereabouts, and we the performers did it all. So I was kind of in charge of AV, the projectors and the video
Yeah.
primarily, and then I had a couple little parts in it.
So is there anything you learned from doing that for the few months that you use today, or it's helped you
A
out?
lot
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. So there's this weird thing about most Christian art for some reason. So I'm deep roots with Christianity, and won't go there now because it's too long of a conversation. But I've always been like really surprised about how just generally bad most Christian themed art is. But that group, that team, they were about excellence. Like you did this and you did it well, and you worked your ass off until you could. Like it wasn't like the whole like, oh no, it's okay. Like, there's grace. It was no soft group. It was like they were hardcore and they were intense about what they did, and they did it well and it worked. But it was the only way it was going to work was with that kind of intensity. I mean, we had, when we were in the training 2 weeks learning the whole thing, it was, we were up till between 12 and 4 in the morning, 4 or 5 days in a row. Like, nope, we're going to hit this again until we get it. Do it again until you get it.
Wow.
And that was just, so I really learned something about the kind of necessary discipline and the striving for excellence in whatever domain, and what you can really do with a handful of knuckleheads and some good organization. And it was, it was cool.
Did you get paid to do this, or was it
Yeah.
free?
It was
Wow.
paid, not like much, but it was,
Yeah.
it was, got to see a lot of the East Coast and the South.
And they're still doing this?
I guess so. I mean, the website looked updated. Yeah. They'll do a little different tour every year.
Silver,
I've never heard
The
of it.
silver ring thing. Yeah.
silver.
Their
ring thing.
deal was you wear, it's a purity ring is the idea. It's like you put it on, it's your like promise not to have sex before you're married or something along those lines.
Got it. So it's all focused around the youth. And
Yeah. Just doing what's best for them is kind of the idea. I mean, it's very well intended. It's
got it.
Silver ring. Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna watch some of it. That's
after I got out, that was when I started tree
oh
work.
shit! I'm watching it.
That's not it.
This is it. This is the silver ring
that has
thing.
3 X's behind it. That's the wrong one.
The wrong ring.
The wrong ring.
The wrong ring. Not a cock ring. Oh shit!
That's so
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Oh, there you are. I seen you on here.
no way.
Yeah. You had a chainsaw in your hand. I swear.
That's the other guy with the chainsaw. I cuts a board off in half on the screen.
No, it was. Watch, Jared. Here he goes. It's gonna be with the
Am I wearing the
chainsaw.
Jason mask?
Let's see. There it is. Okay, I guess it's not going. Yeah, there's somebody with a chainsaw in
Oh
there.
man. Yeah,
So, what was it? A little bit? Were you kind of nervous moving out to the East Coast? I mean, moving your whole life.
yeah. I mean, yeah, a little nervous. Yes, I was definitely been anxious about it. Like mainly working for someone. Like I haven't actually worked for someone other than a couple little stints. That being one of them. Like almost since high school.
Were you able to kind of figure it out? Because if you haven't worked for anybody in a long time, it's hard.
It is, and I'm
Right.
still figuring it out. I really
Yeah.
don't have it dialed at all. Very much still in process.
Are you working right now?
I am working right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm on a business trip actually. right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
And what was the business trip?
We're calling it business development. So working with partners, you guys
Mm-hmm.
who we value and have a working relationship with. And then I'm actually going down to SAC tomorrow to go visit a few like lawn and garden shops who have contacted us. They're like, hey, we want to stock some arborist stuff. Can you help out? So I'm going to go help them kind of figure out what they need and help get them set up.
Good.
Yeah, which that is stuff I can do. I am so happy to be like doing things in person, talking to people face to face. It's the emails and the open-ended like stuff that is just a little bit soul crushing. And I don't figured out yet.
Better get used to it.
Right.
I'm just saying. It sucks, but it's what you got to do.
Oh yeah, I figured everything sucks when you're not good at it, and eventually
Everything?
maybe you'll get good at
That
it.
is, everything sucks when you're not good at it.
But you'll find your stride.
I mean, ask Jared about fishing.
Oh, come on.
Dude, if you ever want like the guide that guy, Tom O'Brien, who is one of the top tree services I worked for, he is the best fisherman I have ever met in any circumstance.
Really?
He is
He's like the
unbelievable.
Instagram guy when you go pick him up from the road.
Oh man, Jared, that's so funny. He shared this video with me. What was it? Pick up your friend to go fishing who doesn't know how to use a bait caster. And then it's this homeless man drinking a beer with Daisy Dukes on, dancing to his music. And I laugh every time I watch it. I just get on it if I need to laugh and watch it. It's pretty funny. I'm actually going to post it on my Instagram. So you guys check out my Instagram. I'll post it tomorrow or tonight.
Daisy Dukes fisherman,
Yeah,
man. That's
it was funny. It was
bait
funny.
caster's the worst. Hate those things.
First time I ever used one going out with these guys. They're like, "Oh, you fish before?" I'm like, "Yeah, I fished before." Like, "Here you go." And I was like, "Oh."
Instant.
I'm like, "Whoa." And they're just sitting there. They just both look the first cast. I'm like, nobody's getting that shit out. They're like, have you ever used one of these? I'm like, never. They're like, oh, you should have said something. I'm like, I don't know. It was a fishing pool. I thought I could.
It spins, right? Like
Yeah.
it spins.
No,
String
it
comes
took-
off.
It took me a while. I got
You're
it.
lucky I wasn't there. I would have been laughing my ass off.
I would have pushed you in the water. I swear to God. I would have pushed you in the water and left.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
what's on the horizon for you? What's kind of your next?
Dude, I do not know. I am
Thing.
so like I'm hoping some seeds sprout somewhere. You know, like I've got the podcast that I really want to kind of get reinvigorated. I've got a lawyer buddy who is the best internet marketer I have ever come across, and so he's kind of taken over the Chicago for sale by owner market single-handedly with his own website. And so we've got a whole bunch of different little small business ideas that we've kind of been going back and
Yeah.
forth on trying to get going. And he's out in Charlotte. So that was the other reason another incentive to move out there. It's like, hey, we're going to do something together.
Cool.
He's just
Nice.
too talented to not want to partner with. And he's just fantastic dude, friendly, easygoing, and
Yeah.
brilliant. So I don't know. Maybe the podcast will take off, or maybe this YouTube thing will go somewhere. And I don't know. Or maybe Iterid. I mean, Iterid's in a position, and we haven't talked about them much, but they're really kind of new to the work safety game. They've been doing it a while, but they just don't have much presence. But their stuff is awesome. Like
It
their
is.
gear is really good, and they've got harnesses for the rope access guys that are really good, and they're working on some fantastic ropes. And so my hope is that as the first real work safety rep, that I can help them expand that into what is a much, much bigger market share than even they could potentially get with the sports side. Like people on the recreational side, they don't spend big money on stuff, and they don't spend money all that often on stuff. But the guys, safety guys, I mean, I'll just buy whatever I need that's going to be good. Like as soon as I figure out it's better, I'll get it. Like it's that simple. And I think there's a lot of guys that, like, especially at the higher level, who think that way. Like, oh, that device will be good, and of course they go through their gear too. I mean, this stuff is what they call it, consumable in a lot of ways, and so it's just a better market. So my hope is that if I can learn to tolerate, really do the corporate thing, that'll be beneficial for everyone and it'll work out. But
Sounds like you got a good thing going.
Yeah.
got a lot of little things going.
Yeah,
Let's see which one shakes out.
That's the way to do it. You know, you got to have all
You gotta have a
fires
lot.
lit.
You gotta have a lot of little things.
Keep all the things in the iron, all the irons
Yeah.
in the poker. I mean, all the, the irons in the fire. Yeah, so I'm hoping the business picks up a little too. I've been trying to keep my arborist thing going just so I can have content and do the occasional side job so I don't feel poor.
Just come out here and shoot a bunch of footage.
I might put me on some jobs. I'll get out here,
Yeah.
climber for a week, shoot a
All
bunch
right.
of footage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. We can make that
we
happen.
could probably drum something up. That's for sure.
Yeah, we got a couple good projects coming up here soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be sweet.
Maybe we'll get you out on the Sierra Tahoe project.
I
there.
love those mountains, man.
It's an awesome
That'd be great.
project.
Where's it at? Where's it going to be?
Tahoe.
In Tahoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the resort.
Oh, at the resort.
Sierra Ski Ranch.
Is it there where they logged it this last
Yeah.
year?
It's
Oh.
only phase one though.
Oh,
There's
okay.
plenty more to do. I just
Yeah.
rode there a couple weeks ago, and it's a lot of work.
Is it a clearing project or like a bunch of
Yeah.
trimming around the buildings too?
No,
or-
no, they're
No,
it's
just
from the fires.
Okay.
They're cutting everything back with 100 feet or 100 yards from all the runs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
100-foot section.
Trying to
Yeah.
expand the runs. Is that the idea? Like
No,
have
all
more
they
room?
burnt down.
Yeah, just get the distance. So if anything were to
Yeah,
fall something
snags.
around,
Mhm.
Yeah, so they removed a lot of timber out of there.
Yeah.
But phase 2 will be happening in springtime. but they opened up all the runs. They didn't think it was going to be open, and they opened everything up,
All
and
right.
they were excited.
I wonder if the snowpack would help keep those things vertical. You know, like when they're dead, you'd still lose branches in the wind and stuff. But I wonder if like 10
Oh,
foot of
sure.
snowpack would just kind of lock it in.
Sure. Kind of like my logs out here.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
mud.
Just bury it in good.
The mud.
They're not moving.
Yeah,
They're
no,
not
we got to
moving.
set a project up, man. I think, we find a project like we have possibly coming up, get up there. We got like 10 decent sized Monterey pines that are dead to rig out and, fly some drones, put some GoPros up,
Heck yeah.
rig it out. And have some fun.
My cousin Caleb, the guy, he's a pretty good little drone pilot. He's got some good videos from time to time.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he'd be happy to come out.
Well,
Yeah, or if you need, the compulsive teaching side, would be happy to come help out with the boot camp or something too. Hey, whatever.
hey,
I'm down.
we're always open for that. I would love to chat more about that.
It's good fun.
Oh man,
Definitely.
you getting hungry?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we're
Woozy.
getting hungry, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But it's hearing your story and stuff. I mean, definitely the book's not closed for sure. I'm kind of interested. Like
The book doesn't even know where it's going yet.
it's going to
Might
go
be a
through-
tragedy. Who knows?
I'm excited to see where you go with Etarid, however you want to pronounce it. I keep messing it up for there. And all these different kind of business ideas you have and things like that. Do you think you'll ever come back to the West Coast?
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly.
I've lived a lot of places, and despite the politics, California is just a beautiful place to be.
It's awesome.
And the more I get into doing things outside, the more I've got the kids, it's like I just want to be where it's sunny and beautiful. And it'll be expensive.
It hasn't been sunny here for a while.
No,
Yeah.
well, it hasn't
All
been sunny in North Carolina, but
Yeah.
in little tiny sections
Yeah.
in years.
Yeah. So what, one thing we always ask individuals that come on here, your experience starting businesses, working for yourself, learning purchasing so much gear and, testing it out yourself and figuring things out without, really having a lot of guidance on this. What is some tips, some wisdom that you can share to kind of the industry out there that can help them out? It could be about anything, not even about tree care or the industry, but just in life in general, whatever you have just to share to help somebody on their drive today or going to work or ready to quit their job and start their own company.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that opened it. I didn't need it more open. I needed it narrower. But I'll make it a little more tree. We'll do the micro
You can
tip
do
from the
both.
tree side here. This is a preview of one of the talks I'm working on for. I may end up getting to do this at TCI if I have any luck. But I'll give a little sales tip for those guys who are selling jobs. You don't have to be the best. Frankly, you don't even have to do good work in order for clients to love you and for you to get paid and get good reviews and continue to get more work. The trick is manage the client's expectations well. So when you talk to them, when you're having your initial conversations, when you're figuring out the scope of work based on what they're expressing, based on how they're feeling about their trees, really, ideally based on the emotions that they are experiencing. Are they worried? Are they afraid? Is your primary job going to be to relieve their fear? And then you just keep increasing the scope of work until it looks like their fear is going to go away, whatever. You figure out what their actual need is and then manage what they're going to expect at the end. And so long as you overperform whatever it is they expect, they will be stoked, like without fail. And it's hard because it's a little bit humble. You have to kind of under promise, like, hey, I'm probably going to break this stuff that's under this tree because, as you can imagine, big stuff coming down, things get broken. They're okay with it if you break something. If you manage to save it, they are thrilled. Right. And your job is
So
to save
smart.
it. And hopefully you're good at that. And hopefully you can make it happen. I do that all the time with grass. Like, hey, so we've got this machine and by far the most efficient way to deal with this is to use our little machine and track it back and forth in this grass. It's going to get torn up. Like it's going to get torn up pretty bad. I'm sorry. I can avoid that. I could bring a crane in and we can pick it and lift it over, but it's going to cost quite a bit more. And I just don't really think it's necessary. If you're willing to spend a couple $100 to a landscaper after we're done to
So
fix this
smart.
grass, like it'll save you $1,000 right now.
I'm like, can you come take out my trees?
Right? I mean, and it's just generating the expectation. And then
Yeah.
when you're done at the end of the day, they expected a pile of logs, you give them a pile of bucked logs. They expected a big pile of messy chips. You blow everything off, and so it's all real nice and consolidated. They're stoked, and they call you back to tell their friends. So you can even say, I'm going to leave a huge mess in this yard, but it's going to be cheap because all I have to do is show up and cut these pieces, and it's going to be all scattered all over, and it's going to break this and that and that. But you know what? It's only going to be $500 because I can do it by myself or with one guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, cool. And then you do it, you bring a guy, you rope it, and you land them all facing the same way. And your guy on the ground just kind of stacks them a little bit nicely, stoked.
Right.
Yeah, like you don't have to be good. You just have to do what you tell them and
Just have
better.
to manage the expectations.
Yep.
That's
Almost
super smart.
Anytime I've had a bad experience with a client, it's because they expected something that I didn't clarify. Like they expected something more than what I was
That-
anticipating doing.
That is some of the best wisdom that's been shared on the show.
Oh,
Really.
thank you.
That is good. I mean, that
Appreciate that.
is somebody tomorrow will use that. You
I
know?
hope they do.
And you'll start seeing they'll start changing the way they talk to the clients and they're setting up their
Get them
expectations.
reviews, get those 5
So
stars.
important for that. So
100.
Josiah, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks for inviting me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good. It
A
was
lot of fun.
definitely
It's been
good.
great hanging out. I love what you guys are doing here. Love the place. It just like makes me happy to see a place that's so clearly built for a purpose and built such that that purpose will be executed well. It's like,
Good. Do you have anything based on everything you see? Anything you want to teach us?
no.
We're
that's
all
a
ears.
trap question there. There's no good answer to
You'll
that.
know when none of the video that I shot out there gets put out.
I know. I'm like, I keep
We
looking
chop
on
it all up
YouTube.
into little tiny little 20-second little.
You're like, I don't
tidbits.
remember saying that. Voiceover is happening. It's not even you talking.
My
Just
face,
tell me.
my
They
face
blur
on,
it out.
on his body for
Yeah.
a second. Like,
we got Jared here. Right, great, Jared.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, listen, guys. Hey, appreciate you being on the show. Thanks to all you guys listening to this right now. If you liked it, if you got something out of it, you got a laugh. If you thought Jared was funny in any way, share it. If you didn't, if you hated the show and you didn't like it at all, send the hate mail to Tree Strider and
I can take it. Put it in a comment on a video.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
You just have to thumbs up at the same time though, so I know it was a joke.
Yeah, there you go. So go to Truth and Fiction on his podcast. Go to Tree Strider on YouTube. Awesome guy, man. Appreciate you being on the show today. And we're gonna close it out. Jared, you got anything else to say, man?
no, just super stoked to be able to hang with you and have you out here too, man. It's been great.
It's been my pleasure. It's great hanging out with you guys. Best of luck, and have fun cleaning up all these storms, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's the show, guys. Remember, continue to elevate the standard of the industry through safety, training, and innovation. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Peace.
All right, guys, we're going to stay on a little bit. If anybody has any questions, let us know. We'll get you on here right now.
Send it in.
Send it in. If you guys would like to get on the show, you guys have some questions.
I particularly like talking about philosophy. So, if you're looking for the meaning of life, throw it out there.
What do you got? Who wants to come on the show here? Let me see. Let me see if I know anybody.
Send it in. If you guys would like to.
Let's see. Maybe Blair wants to jump on. See how we did.
Questions.
Oh, that's clever. You got the mic on the mic. Lester goes, talk about the slim versus pack talk bold. So Mike Lester is one of the guys I trained back in Grass Valley. We found him climbing with a gree up a tree. He's a rock climber, good rock climber. So he was all up there in his rock climbing harness with his gree, like cutting his wife's tree, and his wife had called us to come bid it. And so they're like, hey, come do a job for us, maybe. Like, hey, do you want to learn? And so we got him up, trained him, and now he's running his own thing. He's a character. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike, how's it going,
Oh my
man?
gosh, you guys! I'm drinking 2 shots of vodka right now.
Two shots.
Just a normal Tuesday.
It's hot knee to climb.
Heck
And,
yeah.
oh, Roxy, you didn't want to see? All right.
He's got a couple of daughters who he works with now.
Like, sitting around watching you guys. Anyways, hey, why don't you guys talk about like the Slim versus Tac Talk Bold?
Okay, so I've had both of those. Have you guys played with any of the Cardo Pack Talk units?
No.
They're way better than the Cenas. But the Slims all had an issue with
What are they
charging
called?
ports dying.
What are they called?
Cardo,
Cardo?
Cardo. They're actually an Israeli company. That's where they come from. They're
Cardo.
phenomenal. Yeah, their
Okay.
noise canceling is way better. That's the big change. But the Slims,
Yeah.
they sit flush, which is kind of nice on the helmets. They're definitely the more attractive option, but they all had issues with the charging ports dying.
What's the price difference?
Almost the same. Yeah. So that and the Pack Talk Bold is now the past version. So they've got the Pack Talk.
So way better.
It's Edge now, I think, but it's another step up. Pretty
Oh yeah,
decent
the
step up.
Edge.
Yep.
The Neo.
And I've got the Edge now, and it's
Shit.
awesome.
Okay.
And they're putting that into an industrial headset. So they've got a whole new segment now called I think it's Pack Talk Industry, and they've got like built into the earmuffs. They've got a number of things that are more slanted that way.
You can sweaty ears that way, though.
I see the Edge here.
Yeah, I mean, crane operators would use it that way. Us climbers may not.
Right.
I got those guys on the phone a couple times, and I was encouraging them to try and build something that can be integrated into the Protos ear muff, because we all love our Protos helmets, but
Yeah.
the earmuffs just aren't great.
So the
Just
Pack
sweat.
Talk Edge is
It's nice to see you,
$389.
Josiah. Long time no see, and I'm hanging out with Caleb, so there you go.
Oh,
man.
nice. Well, I'll give it my best.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him. I love him a lot. So, hey, we'll talk to you all later.
All right,
I'll
we'll
get
see
off.
ya.
Yep,
Thanks
yep.
for joining, man.
See ya.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, cool.
Anytime.
Uncle Slob, anytime in the tree canopy, they perform quite poorly.
I wonder which one are you referring to there? The one thing about those, I mean, it's the same with the Cardos as the Cenas. They like that line of sight.
Let's get this guy on here. You might know this guy. Oh, don't be denying me, Chris. What the hell? He jumps on sometimes. No, he's shy
Oh,
tonight.
Cardo Pack Talk, he says. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I've never.
Anybody have any questions for Josiah? Jump on. Let's ask some questions. Any questions?
We have this.
Oh, the Edge. Okay. Oh, well, I'd be curious to hear your experience there. It seemed to work as good or better than anything I was using. Move back.
Move back, huh? All right. Well,
yeah. Well,
this is a tough one, man. That's.
I didn't sell my house, so the door is still open. Well, proverbially, anyway.
But you didn't close your door.
It is occupied, I suppose.
Let's see, does Meckley want to jump on? He always has something good
Meckley,
to
tell us
say.
about that. Tell us about that project, huh? Are you getting booted off and replaced by these guys? I think Matt was cutting up there, wasn't he? On
Yeah.
that project.
Oh yeah. I went and visited them for a little bit, for a week. It was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any other questions? Anybody wants to jump on?
One of the first jobs I did actually was a fire clearance job up in Clear Lake. So one of the times it had burned, I went out there and just felled timber along the fire line. There was this old guy named Jess who had to have been almost 70, and he would put those things down so fast. so efficiently without moving. He would hobble over and kind of get down on one knee and stick a saw and give it a little bump, and the wedge would pop out. And it was only, this wide. It wasn't a big old face.
Oh, yeah.
It was super tight. Whip it around, just send that thing down, one after the other. And he would walk along, stand up on the log, and just let the tip crawl across it. And I learned so many efficiency techniques just watching that guy.
Who was this guy?
It was effortless looking. His name was Jess. I think he died. He's not alive anymore, but
Oh man,
he was just a legendary timber faller.
let's invite Hans on.
It says, I'll ping you with some photos of a Norfolk pine. We can use them during Christmas decorations.
Very scared to get on.
We get some Norfolks out here, pines in the Bay Area.
Those are relatively short, kind of dense needle.
Oh, the ones we got, I got some big ones up
Right
here. Yeah. I got one at my old yard, and that thing's probably almost 100 feet tall.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, cool guys. All right, we're gonna end this. Nobody wants to jump on. Everybody's stage fright or in bed sleeping. So appreciate everybody. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, share it on your page. I'm gonna post it here soon. All right, we'll see everybody.
Cool. All right. 8:20.
Oh jeez!
Damn, time flies.
No kidding. How long would you go there? 2 hours?
Yeah.
No, an hour.
Yeah, we know it there. Oh, just for that one, yeah. Dude, yeah, I might have to just.
Call it good.
Yeah. Freaking whooped. I got nothing done today.
Nah, you made some good content. A lot of it.
Wow. That doesn't help my schedule.
No, it doesn't take anything off your plate, does it?
No.